We are down to the Sweet 16. It's super regional time in college baseball as they're packing them in here at Goodwin Field in Fullerton. Cal State Fullerton getting set to host Arizona State in the super regionals. The Sun Devils come in at 53-12. Cal State Fullerton's Titans 46-13. Just two of those losses have come here at Goodwin Field. Arizona State has the #1 offense in the country. 352 batting average. Cal State Fullerton also in the top 10 at 333. Their hallmark is pitching. The Titans are second in the nation with a 2.75 ERA, but Arizona State is also in the top 10 in pitching. They are explosive on offense. They have hit more than twice as many home runs as the Titans. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to our broadcast. Gary Miller and the coach, Jerry Kendall, here to bring it to you. And Coach, it's hard to overlook what Arizona State does. That's a scary offense.
They're easily the best offensive team in the country. Their stats bear it out. They are hitting at a 352 team batting average, and they are more home runs, more runs scored than any other Division I team in the country. They are the behemoth of college baseball.
They certainly are, but it starts with a table setter who is not a behemoth himself, but with an over 400 average. Dustin Pedroia really sets the table for this team.
He's the sophomore shortstop, Gary. He's an All-American. He started every game since he appeared on the Arizona State campus. He sets the table. You're right. He's the spark plug that ignites the offense in Arizona State's incredible offensive machine.
Yeah, this is a team that favors home runs, grand slams, but statistically, Cal State Fullerton can't keep up with them, but Shane Costa could fit in that lineup.
Oh, we're anxious to see this guy. He's one of the premier outfielders in college baseball. 3-year starter. Look at that average, 371. He's the Big West Player of the Year. He can steal a base. He plays great defense. He's a second-round draft choice of this week earlier in the pro draft. He's a great player.
We'll talk about all the draft picks, and there's a lot of them on each of these teams, but that intimidating offense is the chore for the two starting pitchers today. Eric Averill was a last-minute decision for Arizona State. We'll talk about why. And Jason Windsor is going for Cal State Fullerton as they look to get a leg up in his 3-game series with a trip to Omaha on the line. So expect emotions to run high. This is it. Can you get into the final 8? The Sun Devils going against the Titans here at Fullerton coming up next. We're back on the road to Omaha. It's the Super Regionals. Cal State Fullerton, the 7th seed, hosting Arizona State here at Goodwin Field. Jerry Kendall, Arizona State, we talked about their lineup in the open. Let's take them top to bottom now.
Well, here's what Coach Pat Murphy's going to send out as his batting order here in the first inning. Dustin Pedroia leading off, playing shortstop. Travis Buck in right field. Andre Ethier, the center fielder, hitting third. Jeremy West at DH. Jeff Larish, their home run hitter, RBI man. He's at first base. Batting next, Steve Garibrandt, the second baseman, stolen base leader on the team. Nick Walsh hitting 7th. Dennis Wyrick, the third baseman, hitting 8th, and Tuffy Goswish, the catcher, batting 9th.
And the man to face them will be Jason Windsor, the junior, born in San Bernardino, California. In 20 games, he posted a 9-2 record, ZRA of 187, great hits to innings ratio, and an outstanding walks to strikeout ratio. Jason Windsor, we asked to describe his repertoire. Here's how he would sum up Jason Windsor.
Throw 4 pitches, 2 or 3 of them for strikes. I work down fastball. I spot my fastball in and out. When I'm ahead of the count, try to get him to chase stuff. I throw a fastball, curveball, changeup. Changeup is behind the count. Try to get him out of the changeup. Try to get him a fish for something. Curveball and slider when I'm ahead of the count. I'll try to get him a fish for that.
And you can see, I don't think he wore the same hat for that interview we did yesterday as he's got on today.
That was his practice hat, Gary, and believe me, that was heavily stained with perspiration. He's a hard worker, we know that much.
He's going to have his work cut out for him. We talked about Dustin Pedroia in the open of the show. This is a guy who's a total table setter, and really the heart and soul of this team really sets a tone, not just with his bat, but with his attitude and everything else for Pat Murphy's club. First pitch of the Super Regional. Right in there for a strike. The home plate umpire is Scott Graham. Scott Irby's at first base. A.J. Lostaglio is at second base, and Steve Ricciarini is your third base umpire. Dustin Pedroia from Woodland, California. A lot of Californians on this Arizona team. Just a sophomore, little 5'9" guy, but he can do some damage.
Well, he is Mr. Sun Devil. If you were to characterize this team, yes, they have a lot of power, they hit a lot of home runs, they score a lot of runs, but if you were to characterize their character, it would be this young man, the leadoff man, Dustin Pedroia, All-American sophomore shortstop.
We should get a taste of that right here because Windsor has painted him into an 0-2 hole. And watch him battle here. You can see, but just by his countenance in the batter's box as he readjusts his gloves here, that 0-2 doesn't seem to intimidate him.
He doesn't strike out much, Gary. He'll battle this good pitcher, Justin Windsor.
This one inside. Pat Murphy's club, as you mentioned, is a juggernaut. They're averaging over 10 runs a game. In the first inning last week, in sweeping their regional, outscored the opponents 8-0.
They're scary. They can score almost at will.
Takes a pitch out of the zone and whacks it high. Coming back to the screen is Suzuki, and it's going to make the seats. There you see Coach Pat Murphy, his 9th year at Arizona State. Used to coach at, yeah, we're looking at you too, Pat. The former Notre Dame coach, Craig Counsell, one of his famous alums with the Irish. He has sent some men to the majors from Arizona State as well. And it's been a while. He was in Omaha in '99, but he's been waiting for a return trip.
Yes, anxious to get back, and his team is very, very capable of making that trip to Omaha, the promised land for college baseball, Gary.
Breaking pitch, and Pedroia fouls that one off. So as we mentioned, and I called Jerry Kendall coach, for those of you who aren't familiar with college baseball. This is a guy who was a legend at Arizona, coached there up until 1996, so he knows not only that, but you know these programs as well, so it's a pleasure to have you here, Jerry.
Thanks a lot, Gary. Great to be with you.
Dustin Pedroia trying to get things started here. Jason Windsor trying to figure out a way to get him out of that box. Tries to get a fastball by him. Both these coaches have a bit of a legacy to them. George Horton's in his 7th year at Fullerton. Look at that record. 305 and 125. He's the only guy to play in a College World Series and coach a College World Series game.
Well, he's had a very storied career here. He was the assistant coach under Augie Garrido for 7 years, and then when Augie moved to Texas, he took over.
Obviously, Pedroia working the count to 2-2. Take a look at Dustin Pedroia, the little 5'9" sophomore spark plug for the Sun Devils.
5'9" may be stretching it, Gary.
Yeah, well, you know how those media guys are. 2-2 pitch. And now he's worked it full. So as we mentioned, he got in an 0-2 hole. He's battled. He's seen pretty much the whole repertoire here because Windsor's thrown pretty much those 4 pitches he described. We look at some of the famous alums here, and those are all big leaguers ahead of him on that list of single-season hits. 9th pitch of the sequence for the leadoff batter for Arizona State. Tries to sneak a fastball by him, and he fouls that pitch off. So he'll be going to pitch number 10, and 3 of them have been fouled off.
Well, it's very tough to strike out. Pedroia is struck out only 13 times. This is his 285th at-bat for the season, Gary. Has struck out only 13 times. That's incredible. That's what you like in a leadoff man.
The only guy that has started every game for Pat Murphy's squad. His on-base percentage is nearly 500, Coach. That's ungodly, 491.
Well, he's a prototypical leadoff man.
3-2 pitch. He decides he's had enough of him. He decides to challenge him, and he gets Pedroia to pop up to Justin Turner on the infield. So they finally get the first out, but they saw a lot of pitches from Windsor.
Well, this is the defense now that George Horton has put out. It's a great defense, by the way. Behind the plate, Kurt Suzuki. Third base, Ronnie Prettyman. Justin Turner, the freshman shortstop. Jason Karopsy at second. Richie Burgos, cleanup hitter at first base. Out in the outfield, David Fisher, a late start in place of Kyle Boyer, who has a bad back. Shane Costa, who we featured in the opener, in center. And Danny Dorn, the great young freshman hitter, in left field.
So he gets Pedroia to pop up to shortstop, but he had to use 11 pitches to get it. Now it's Travis Buck. He goes off speed and misses outside and lead him off. Freshman out of Richmond, Washington. 1-0 count. Jason Windsor here in the first inning he's got 1 out, and he just misses low with that pitch. So they're working the counts here.
It would not be surprising. There's Ronnie Prettyman, third baseman for the Fullerton Titans, and he's playing even with the bag, almost on the grass, you'll see. The reason is that Buck is a great base hit bunter. Already this season, he has 11 base hit bunts. This is just a freshman right there. He showed, and the infield reacted. Actually, he was going to take that pitch anyway. 2-0 in the first inning. Pat Murphy would love to get a runner on base here. And remember that stat you quoted at the top of the broadcast, Gary, the number of runs they scored in the first inning this year.
93 first-inning runs, including 8 last weekend when they were hosting the regional. Kind of unbelievable, Jerry, that a team the caliber of Arizona State would be playing a road game in the Super Regional.
Well, they were ranked a trifle below Cal State Fullerton in the final rankings by the baseball committee of the NCAA. That gave Fullerton the home field advantage in this particular Super Regional.
You see how much he likes to bunt. On a 3-1 pitch, he was squaring and took it for a strike.
He may have been under orders to take that pitch again from head coach Pat Murphy. Trying his best to get a runner on base in the first inning and break out on top. It's so important in this game.
Swings through it in the first strikeout of the game for Jason Windsor as Travis Buck goes down on strikes after being up in the count 2-0.
Jason Windsor has a great changeup. One of the best I have seen. And this may be the changeup. You see he's out. No, it was fastball. That's fastball. 3-2 fastball right down the middle. Buck was just a trifle tardy. But don't be surprised, Gary, if Jason Windsor pulls a lot of changeups at very unlikely counts. Behind the hitter, ahead of the hitter, whatever.
Andre Ethier, center fielder for Pat Murphy's Sun Devils. Andre, a 21-year-old junior from right there, next to Tempe and Phoenix. This is where the power starts to come in for the Sun Devils lineup.
There's the changeup, Gary. Jason Windsor with the count 0-1 through the changeup. It's so effective. Every pitcher on this Titan staff has to be able to throw that changeup for strikes. You see how far out ahead he is. He just barely gets it off the end of the bat and fouls it off. But every pitcher has to throw that changeup for strikes, or Dave Serrano, the pitching coach, will not send him out there. That's a fact.
0-2, he's going to try and set down this mighty Sun Devil offense. 1-2-3, and he fouls that pitch back. Ethier had 9 homers and 66 RBIs during the campaign, in which Arizona State got off to an incredible start, the best start in school history. But since then, they've gone just 3-10, and that was another thing that probably cost them the seeding here, and the fact that they're on the road to the Super Regional. Another 0-2 pitch, and he fights that one off. Let's see if it makes the seats. Ronnie Prediman is over there in front of his own dugout, and he makes the catch. So a great opening inning for Jason Windsor, a classic battle with Dustin Pedroia to get him to pop up. He struck out Travis Buck, and he gets the number 3 hitter, Andre Ethier, to pop out just in front of the dugout. So that's a pretty good start for Cal State.
It sure is, particularly in light of how many runs Arizona State has scored in the first run. They just intimidate their opponents. That's their plan. They want to get ahead and stay ahead, and they'll gobble them up. But here, the good pitching by Jason Windsor has stopped them in the first inning. That's a big step forward in this game for Cal State Fullerton.
Let's see what Eric Averill will have to face in Cal State Fullerton's lineup. We saw him out in the field. Let's take them 1 through 9, Coach.
Well, here's Justin Turner leading off, the shortstop, young freshman. Shane Costa in right field. Kurt Suzuki, clutch hitter. We'll talk about him later. Batting third, the catcher. Richie Burgos, first baseman. P.J. Pilateri, DHing today and hitting 5th. Danny Dorn in left field, hitting 6th. And David Fisher, the late start in right field. Ron Prettyman, batting 8th, the third baseman. And Jason Koropsy, the second baseman.
Look at those gaudy numbers. What's Koropsy doing in there? He's hitting under 300, but he's still a strong 284. Eric Averill, a last-minute decision, and I think one of the reasons that Pat Murphy decided to go with him, Jerry, is that he's a lefty, and he got 4 lefties in that lineup.
That's right, but George Horton does not bow to that. He'll play those lefties against anyone.
Well, we heard from Jason Windsor. Here's how Eric Averill sums up his approach.
Have 4 pitches, got a fastball, curveball, cutter, and a changeup. If I had to rank them, I'd say my changeup's probably my best pitch. And then fastball location, pretty much going after hitters. We like to get ahead with our fastball counts and then go with some off speed, bust them in late. Pretty much that's a scouting report on me.
We'll see how accurate his self-evaluation is, but how odd, a lefty featuring a changeup. Sounds like a Jamie Moyer clone.
Yeah, well, he has unbelievable poise for a freshman. By the way, he's from Orange, California. Went to high school in Villa Park, just around the corner.
Yeah.
You can imagine he has a lot of his people here.
Starts it off with a fastball, so he doesn't go with his feature pitch, a changeup, and Justin Turner is right there waiting with a line drive single, the first hit of the game.
Here's the defense now that Averill will have playing behind the plate. Tuffy Goswish, third baseman Dennis Weidrich, Dustin Pedroia, great player at shortstop Steve Garabrandt. At second, Jeff Larish at first, Travis Buck, Andre Ethier, and Nick Walsh in the outfield. Of course, on the mound, the young freshman Eric Averill.
Shane Costa, who's in center field. He was going to start the game in right, but they moved him over to center with the late change that you mentioned. So now we'll see how Averill pitches with a man on base. He's pretty good at holding runners. Interesting talking to the pitching coaches before the game, Jerry, and Arizona State loves the slide step. They love to hold runners. Cal State Fullerton doesn't bother with it at all.
No, but they throw over there a lot. You'll see that they will pay much attention to that base runner.
Here's the breaking pitch. 71 miles an hour, so he can definitely go low on the gun. 44% of the time the leadoff batter has reached base, and they've started the Super Regional by getting Justin Turner on ahead of Shane Costa.
Well, he can steal base. He's 13 for 17 in stolen bases.
Tap to third. Weidrich with a strong arm makes the play. They do get the runner over to second.
I'm not surprised to see Shane Costa drop one down to third base. Now, that was not a sacrifice bunt. This was a base hit bunt attempt. Shane Costa can really hit. We know that he's at 371. But there's the base hit bunt. And Dennis Weidrich, expecting it, still has to make a great play and a strong throw to get him by, oh, just a fraction. But that moves the runner into second base with one out.
Brings up Kurt Suzuki, catcher from Hawaii. Now Averill pitches with a man behind him at second base, and he turns and looks Justin Turner back to the bag. You mentioned the poise that Eric Averill has. One of the reasons they went with a freshman in the opener of a Super Regional is the fact that he does not pitch like a freshman. He pitches like he's been here a while.
The pitching coach for the Sun Devils is Chris Sinacore, and he calls him the most polished freshman he has ever been around. Now that's saying a lot, because Chris Sinacore is a veteran coach, a veteran college coach. There's Chris Sinacore. Now he'll call every pitch, Gary. You see there, he's flashing the pitch. He's flashing the location also to his catcher, Tuffy Goswish. And he'll call every pitch. The catcher has the liberty to, well, he will flash that to the pitcher. The pitcher has liberty to shake him off, but he better be right. He better not cross up the pitch and go Sinacore too often.
Averill looks his man back. Still pinching in, especially at third base with Weidrich. Karopsy sneaking up behind Justin Turner at second base. Outfield actually playing a little bit behind straightaway. Pops that one straight up, going back is Pedroia, and it'll fall into center field's hands. Andre Ethier is there. Ethier was lined up on the right field side of second base for a right-handed batter.
Suzuki is very good at putting that ball in play. He'll go to all fields. He's one of the better hitters on this squad. They're all good hitters, they're all good bunters, but Suzuki has hit 355. Pop that one up.
So the cleanup hitter, Richie Burgos, will come up. He's from Glendora, California, another guy who's local. They get a lot of area guys, and this is in a tremendous area for baseball as well.
When I was coaching at Arizona, Gary, it was no secret, if you did all your recruiting in Orange County and could get the best players in Orange County, you'd be a perennial College World Series participant.
I was talking with Mike Lamb, an alumnus here who plays with the Texas Rangers, and he talked about that as well. In fact, as Averill goes over to talk to Weidrich, Weidrich played for Mike Lamb's dad in Sandy Koufax's ball.
How interesting.
And, you know, I was joking with him, you can play baseball 13 months a year here. I mean, the weather is just so conducive to being breakfast, lunch, and dinner baseball.
And they have great high school programs and junior college programs. Perhaps the best junior college competition is right here in Southern California, in the country.
It'll be an interesting pitch to watch to see if Averill can get that corner and get it in a little bit. If he can get that pitch over to these left-handed batters, he's going to be tough this afternoon. That one just missed.
Well, there are the customary 4 left-handed hitters in the lineup for Cal State Fullerton. I mentioned earlier, George Horton won't bow to a left-handed pitcher and try to get a lot of his right-handed hitters in there. He did make one possible change by putting the right-handed hitter, David Fisher, in. But normally he'll go with these left-handed hitters, Costa, Burgos, Dorn, and Prettyman, regardless.
Nub to Wyrick goes across the diamond, so he makes 2 of the assists on the inning. So neither team, 2 good offensive teams, shut out here in the first inning. We are scoreless through 1 at Goodwin Field. Back at Goodwin Field in Fullerton, Cal State Fullerton hosting Arizona State. We're scoreless through the second inning, or into the second inning. Both teams went down in the first. Cal State Fullerton has lost only twice all year, and they're maintaining a success rate that kind of holds forth in these super regionals. We've only been doing these since 1999, but more than 3/4 of the time the home team advances to Omaha.
You can see the advantage of having the home team and playing the games on your home field with your hometown fans. And the reason that's happened is that the NCAA Baseball Committee ranking the top 8 teams in the country, if they should advance to the super regionals, and Cal State Fullerton is one of those, they get the home field advantage.
You know, a little bit later, Coach, we're going to look into the pitching grips of these pitchers, and I wonder what the grip was on that last pitch.
Well, he throws 4 pitches, this big guy, Jason Windsor. Fastball, changeup, that's his best pitch, curve, and a slider. So, kind of interesting. 4 pitches, he gets them all over for strikes.
1-1 to Jeremy West, the DH, sometimes catcher, and he'll pop up foul. So Windsor has been spectacular for the first 4 batters. And Pat Murphy's squad talks about the intimidation factor of playing on the road and says you got to do what you got to do.
You know, you got to play and you got to win, and that's what it's all about. And you can't get concerned with, you know, people have been saying, hey, these are 2 best teams in the country playing. They shouldn't be playing until Omaha. Well, that's not the way it is. So you deal with what reality is. Reality is you got to come here and win. And it's on the road, but great teams win on the road.
And he speaks that truth to his baseball team. The Sun Devils know that if they're going to get to Omaha, they have to win on the road, regardless. They have to win on the road throughout the season to put up a good record, which they've done. They've been a very good road team.
17-5 on the road this year. Got off to an incredible 24-1 start and 53-12 right now. They were fortunate enough to be home last weekend in Tempe and swept through the regionals to make it here. Now the problem is, you know, Pat can say all he wants, but this team has lost only twice at home all season in 32 home games. Arizona State's got to beat them twice in 3 here.
Yeah, it's an uphill climb, but Arizona State has the offense particularly. By the way, they have a terrific closer, too. If they can get a lead and get into the 8th and 9th innings with a lead, then they bring in a young man named Ryan Schroyer, an All-American relief pitcher. So, and both teams have an All-American relief pitcher. So it's very important, put some runs up on the board early, try to increase it, work on that lead, stay ahead, bring that closer in and shut the door. Either team is able to do that with Schroyer for Arizona State and Cadero, the chief, Chad Cadero for Cal State Fullerton.
A lot of draft picks, a lot of All-Americans in both these lineups. Jeff Larish, a sophomore from right there in Tempe. Works the count to 3-1.
Jason Windsor falling behind a little bit here in the second inning. He's walked only 17 in 77 innings. It's a terrific strike ratio, strike ball ratio. They walk that man.
There goes first walk of the game for the first base runner of the game for Arizona State. And that'll bring up Steve Garibrandt.
The team stats, the team pitching stats, Gary, for Cal State Fullerton are incredible. 2.75 ERA, second in the nation. We know that. Here's another lesser known fact. In the whole season, their staff, their pitching staff for Fullerton has walked less than 2 batters a game on the average. Less than 2 batters a game.
Well, they're halfway there. Let's see what Garibrandt does with 1 out and a man on first. Windsor pitching from the stretch for the first time. He's first pitch swinging. He'll back up David Fisher close to the warning track, but he's got plenty of room there. And shows off a pretty powerful arm from right field. So 2 outs now in the second inning. Here's kind of what you're talking about, Coach. No pitcher has an ERA over 3.82, and most of them are in the 2s.
Oh my gosh. You know, in college baseball, facing the aluminum bat, and you don't have that many strong arms. You have about a 10-man staff, just like in the major leagues. But you go from perhaps number 6 down to number 10, and they don't have the great stuff in college. But this staff is among the best I've seen in college baseball in all these years that I've been coaching and following.
216 batting average against Jason Windsor this year as he faces Nick Walsh, the Sun Devils left fielder. Dave Serrano is the Cal State Fullerton coach, and just like his counterpart, he's calling these pitches.
He's a great pitching coach. Serrano has been with George Horton now for 7 years, and he's put together this great staff of which we speak.
Getting bearing down on Nick Walsh. He's up in the count 0-2. Dave Serrano has some history as well. He was at Tennessee in 1995 and 96 before joining Horton's staff, and he said one of the best pitchers he had was Todd Helton. Todd Helton was an incredible closer for him. Great stuff. And you might imagine that. He was a Tennessee quarterback, so he had a pretty good arm.
What a great athlete. And I've seen him up close and personal in Tucson, Arizona, where I live. Colorado Rockies trained there, of course.
Right.
And he was a USA national team player, Olympic player, so I've gotten to know Todd. I did not know he was a pitcher one time.
Yeah, he said he was an incredible pitcher. And obviously he was a great hitter, too. I mean, he was the offensive player of the year in the SEC when he played at Tennessee.
Great athlete.
One-two count as Jason Windsor tries to get out of it. He's got Jeff Larish over there at first, courtesy of a walk. It'll take a 2-out hit from Nick Walsh, and Windsor gets him back. We mentioned that Serrano does not teach the slide step, but as you said, Coach, he doesn't let guys just wander free over there either.
Well, they're very alert, and that's one of the features of Cal State Fullerton's defense. They don't give away easy bases. They don't give away big leads. Almost, but he got him on a balk. Home plate umpire Scott Graham got him on a balk, and I'm not quite sure what it was.
He pointed to his leg as he was talking to Jason Windsor. Home plate umpire Scott Graham did.
Well, we'll take a look at it now and see. Look at that left leg. See if he wiggles it. See if he bends it a little. Well, very close, very close. But he did break that knee before he made his move to first base, and that is indeed a balk. A good call by Scott Graham. Now George Horton's a little bewildered by it, but he did not go out.
It looked like it was all one motion to me, but he's a veteran umpire, and he makes the call and he gets his man into scoring position, but Windsor gets the out he needs. Chucking it across the diamond is Justin Turner. They get Nick Walsh in the ground out, and they strand the runner at second base on the ball. We're scoreless, going bottom 2. Back in Fullerton, Cal State Fullerton and Arizona State scoreless here in the second inning. And the road to Omaha has gotten a little bit of a detour. It's got a little fork in it now. We still have regionals with 64 teams and 16 sites. For the last 5 years now, we've had super regionals to decide our final 8, best 2 out of 3, including this series here. But in the College World Series, it's the same with double elimination. But when you get to those final 2 teams, it will now be best of 3, which is new for 2003, instead of a winner-take-all.
I think that's a great move by the NCAA Baseball Rules Committee to make that final twosome play a 2 out of 3 and not just have a sudden death playoff for the championship as it was. It's a great move.
P.J. Piliteri, the designated hitter for the Titans, leading off here in the bottom of the second. Works the count to 1-1 against Eric Averill. Goes with the pitch and screams it into the right field seats.
I really like this young Averill, only a freshman, and he's around the plate. He can work both sides of the plate. It's a very good fastball. That fastball kind of ran away from Piliteri there. Fouled it off over the right field bleachers. There's the changeup.
A lot of snacks there.
Oh boy, he's ready.
That's Dave Serrano's son. And there's quite a legacy of bat boys at Cal State Fullerton. We'll get into in a minute here. Pulls that one fair past the diving Wyrick, and Piliteri is going to lead off with extra bases He'll get into second with a stand-up double.
P.J. Pelletieri got a pitch inside. Pitch before that had been a fastball away, and Averill tried to come inside on him now, cross him up and lock him up. But Pelletieri was ready for the fastball inside. It's actually a breaking ball, a little curve ball, maybe the cutter, and it went down. He nails it down the line. Wyrick made a noble effort, but just inside the line for a leadoff double.
That ball was scorched. He's a leading hitter for Cal State Fullerton at .386 on the season. That's just his 10th double of the year, though. Now Danny Dorn, the freshman from close by in Diamond Bar, hits a breaking pitch for a strike.
Now the Fullerton offense features the bunt. Now it could be a base hit attempt. It's very important for Dorn now to try to move this runner over to third base with less than 2 outs, to pull the ball to that right side of the infield and advance him, or to bunt, base hit or sacrifice. Let's see what happens here. They can all bunt here. Every one of the Cal State Fullerton hitters are very adept at the base hit bunt and certainly the sacrifice bunt.
Danny Dorn had one successful bunt this year. Let's see if he's up for it in a key spot here. He faces Averill with a leadoff hitter in scoring position. He plunked it.
Well, Averill certainly didn't want to do that.
It's the 19th time Danny Dorn's been hit by a pitch.
He ties his teammate Shane Costa in that rather painful statistic. They're leading the team with 19 hit by pitch. There you see him right in the thigh, and he's not hurt.
Tell you what, Coach, that's, you know, Averill hasn't pitched as much as some of the other starters on Arizona State. That's the 16th guy he's plunked, so not unusual for him to hit a batter.
That's a lot.
This team, though, I mean, it's one of their offensive weapons. They've now been hit 102 times.
Yeah, they don't mind keeping their leg or their shoulder in there and taking one for the team. They're very good at that.
Now let's see if David Fisher tries to move the runners up, and he's not scoring off this time. Nobody out, 2 on here in the bottom of the second as Cal State Fullerton's got something going.
A little bit surprised here that George Horton is not advancing the 2 runners with nobody out in the second inning with a sacrifice bunt. Arizona State's playing as if they expected.
He did not have a successful sacrifice on the season. He and Pedroza are the only 2 Titans that didn't have a single sac bunt.
Well, I think maybe you've explained it then. Rather than give him up and not being the great bunter that I assumed he was, because they practice bunting so much. The little things, the fundamentals of the short game. Fullerton is virtually flawless.
Averill in a spot here. He's got a 1-1 count. And he looks the runner back, one of his favorite moves. He had to do it last inning when Justin Turner got to second base. Now he's got 2 on and nobody out here in the second. I mentioned that David Fisher does not have a successful sacrifice this year, but he hit .311 on the season, knocked in 13 runs. A little dribbler foul that Wyrick scoops up.
Well, there was the bunt. George Horton gave him 1 strike to try to drive it, but then he put the sacrifice bunt on, and you'll see it here. Third baseman Wyrick was expecting it. He charges. The ball does go foul. He picks it up quickly. So the bunt was in order. Fisher was unable to execute it. Now Arizona State, by the way, they have a very good defensive team too. I've been singing the praises of Cal State Fullerton's defense, Gary, but the defensive average for the Sun Devils is .973.
Gets him fishing. Fisher fishing. Strikes him out. His first strikeout of the game comes in a big spot. It's only the first out, though, in the second.
Here's the pitch. This is a great pitch by the young freshman Averill. It's a changeup down in the dirt. He fooled Fisher so badly that he began swinging long before the ball got there, and now he wasn't able to run because first base was occupied on the third swinging strike. But Averill made a great pitch there. They did a very important hitter. 1 out now, first and second.
Ronnie Pridham, the .358 hitter, steps in. Another lefty. Pridham from Los Alamitos, California.
He's just a sophomore. Fullerton team, as well as Arizona State, is peopled with some freshmen and sophomore that are very, very fine players. So they are strong again for next year.
4 freshmen All-American on Cal State Fullerton. Slow and slower coming up again from Averill. You can see, though, why he made that late change. Fisher was a late switch, Jerry, to get another righty bat in there. Didn't work out on that at bat, but this guy can be really tough on lefties.
He sure appears to be. He has those 4 pitches, including fastball, changeup, curve, and cutter.
It's in the outfield, and that's going to make the gap. Giving chase, and it'll fall in for a 2-run extra base hit, a double. He's going to go for 3, and he dives in without a throw from Pedroia. A diving triple.
Well, Prettyman delivered a huge hit last week in the regional, played on this very same field against Notre Dame. A 2-run double that broke the game open. The championship game here, to pitch away, and he stayed right with it, kept that right shoulder in, nailed it into left center, deep in left center. Now watch the relay. The relay, there's Ethier, the center fielder, picking it up, and he misses the first cutoff man, and that allowed the batter, Prettyman, to slide into third base with a triple. So if he had hit that first cutoff man, they might have had a shot at him, but he overthrew the first cutoff man. By the time it got to the second cutoff man, the second baseman, it was too late to stop the triple.
Brings up diminutive Jason Karopsy, the 9-hitter for the Titans, and he sits a sizzling shot through a pulled-in infield off the glove of Averill. And the fans are on their feet here at Goodwin Field, and they're out of the box to congratulate Prettyman, who got things started with a 2-run triple and now comes home on the line single.
Well, he picked on the first pitch here, Karopsy did, and be careful. That ball was by him before he realized that Averill gave the fastball right down the middle, and he nailed it for a single and a run batted in. 3-0 now for the Titans.
An impressive inning for Cal State Fullerton, and now they go back to the top of the order. He hit that ball so quickly, and the first pitch, did you see him? He's got the socks pulled up. Karopsy's the only guy in the starting lineup who's not hitting 300. Right away, Arizona State is going to get the bullpen active. So top of the order, Justin Turner, who also has a hit off Averill. He started the bottom of the first with a single.
Oh, goodness. He hit Suzuki with the bat. This might be an injury. The on-deck man, Kurt Suzuki, that bat came wheeling out of Turner's hands. You see Turner there, but if we can get a shot, there's Suzuki. He was in the on-deck circle. He barely avoided taking that one in the head.
He looks like he's holding his wrist.
Yeah, it hit him in the hand. There was no way he could get out of the way altogether, because he was pretty close in the on-deck circle. Boy, and this would really hurt the Cal State Fullerton chances, because Suzuki is a terrific catcher. Has not made an error all year, by the way. And Pilateri, the other catcher, is in the lineup now as the DH. So if he's unable to continue, but he appears to be okay. Kurt Suzuki, you'll have some more to say about him when he comes up to the plate, but one of the really down and dirty players, tough guy, and I really was impressed with him last weekend rather, at the regionals here. He's okay.
We'll certainly find out when he gets in the box. Turner's at bat continues in an 0-1 hole. Nice breaking pitch from Averill there, just misses.
Well, big inning going here, Gary, for the Titans, and there's still only one out. And Turner on first base. Excuse me, Karopsy at first base. Turner at the plate.
Robbie McClellan starting to get loose in the Arizona State camp.
His first game in a 2-out-of-3 playoff is huge. And to break out on top is huge. And that's what Fullerton's done here in the bottom of the second inning.
Well, you would think, even though Jason Windsor has looked strong so far, it's only the first time through Arizona State as we look at Robbie McClellan getting loose in the Sun Devil bullpen. They're going to need some runs against this team. And this is an Arizona State team. I don't expect them to score 10 today, but that's what they've averaged. So they'll take everything you can get.
They have been shut out for something like 458 games.
An NCAA record. So they're going to get on the board.
They're going to get. You're absolutely right, Gary. They're going to get on the board, and they can do it in multiple runs, or with multiple runs in any inning. They have such power.
We talked about their first inning force, which hasn't materialized in the first or second inning form today, but they had a 12-run ninth inning in the regional last week against New Mexico State. Do you think Avrill's buying time here for McClellan?
I don't think so. He's given up 3 hits this inning and hit a batter. But I think he's expecting that they're going to run. And so he's going to make sure they don't get a good jump over there. Karopsi doesn't run often. He's only 3 for 4 on stolen bases so far this year. But it's a hit-and-run opportunity with 1 out. Although there is 2 strikes now. There are 2 strikes on the hitter, Justin Turner. So it's not a hit-and-run opportunity so much as it was earlier.
A little cat and mouse going on. Well, we talked about the bat boys they got, and Dave Serrano's son is one of the bat boys. But Karopsi, I don't know, he could pass for one, Jerry.
Yeah.
He's not much bigger than the bat boy.
And he's a senior, by the way. And a very good one. Boy, he's a good player.
Finally coming home, and he wasted outside. It's 2-2 now. And we've got another ball.
All right, now this is interesting. He stepped toward first base, I believe, and Scott Graham, the home plate umpire there, we see Scott. He's a crew chief of this 4-umpire system. Let's see now where that foot goes. If it goes toward first base, hard to tell. Hard to tell. Let's watch again now.
I didn't see anything.
I'm a little bit befuddled here on why the balk was called. But Pat Murphy or Chris Sinacore, the pitching coach, did not come out. So they must have understood that Averill did balk.
Well, both these teams will be familiar. Well, at least Cal State Fullerton will be with Scott Graham. He's got 28 years in umpiring, including the Big West. He's also worked the ACC and Conference USA. He has not worked the Pac-10. Averill comes from behind to strike out Justin Turner.
That was an off-speed pitch, big curve that Turner just simply couldn't lay off. Watch the pitch now. It starts way outside. It breaks in, and it caught the corner, and Turner was kind of locked up. He didn't think it was a strike. Yes, it is a better swing. Too late. Good pitch by the young freshman, Averill. There's Justin Turner over there, the redhead.
One of the things we noticed talking to the freshman Averill, who described his pitching repertoire for us earlier in the broadcast, he doesn't pitch like a freshman and doesn't act like one either, even though he's had a lot of trouble this inning. Looks very composed. This is not getting to him. That's one of the things we noticed talking to him in our interview.
If he can get out of this inning, believe me, it's not going to be an easy task. Shane Costa, the hot-hitting All-American right fielder, or center fielder tonight, he's up there now. But if he can get out of this inning, they'll have every opportunity to send him out there again in the third. But he needs to get this hitter, this left-handed hitter.
He got Costa the ground to third his first time up, and Wyrick playing very deep at third base against a left-handed hitter.
Although he did bunt in the first inning, Costa that is, to advance Turner to second base with 2 outs. He's going to try to drive one. He wouldn't be bunting here. Runner in scoring position.
Second baseman Steve Garabrandt is in the outfield. Off-speed pitch, it's hammered in the gap, and that'll bring home another run. Look at Karopsi, wheel around. He scores a 2-out RBI single from the All-American Shane Costa.
That was a mistake. It was way up in the zone, and it was an off-speed pitch. And he had all kinds of time to look at it. Kept his hands back. Look at, there's the off-speed pitch. He stays with it, takes it right up the middle of center field, line drive, drives in a run. 4-0. We'll take another look at this. This is a beautiful swing. This is a great athlete, Gary. He can run. He's got power. He's got a great arm, by the way, center field. And he's demonstrating his skills today. And he has all year.
Well, here's Kurt Suzuki. Let's see if he reacts at all, having a bat thrown at him from Justin Turner that went off his hand. Takes the inside strike. Shane Costa at first base. He can fly as well. Is there anything he can't do?
No, he really isn't. He's an all-around player.
5-tool guy.
Yeah, that's true. He's only hit 4 home runs. He can do more than that, but he's such a good hitter. He doesn't try to pull those pitches he shouldn't be. He takes them where they're pitched. Like we saw a moment ago, that line drive to center field pitch was a little bit away from him. Stayed with it. smoked it to center field.
You know,
lots of us would try to pull that.
Oh, man, that was perfectly placed. With all those attributes, left-handed, playing center today, pretty good arm, can run pretty well, a line drive hitter. Reminds you of Mark Kotze from the '95 championship team.
That's a good comparison.
Pedroia should get he decides to go to first, so that he wasn't going to get Costa at second base. Goes across the dive. But a huge inning for Cal State Fullerton. Ronnie Prettyman, and a pretty important hit. An opposite field triple that scored 2 runs. They end up scoring 4 in the inning on Arizona State. Back at Goodwin Field in Fullerton, California, Cal State Fullerton puts 4 on the board in the second inning, and now it's up to Jason Windsor to make that stick against the best hitting team in the country.
Well, how does he do it? He's got a 1.87 ERA. 9-2 record. Here's the fastball. He holds it with the seams, so he gets a sinker. Here's the curveball. A lot of pressure on the seam with his middle finger. The slider is his 4th best pitch, and that's how he holds it. Close fingers together. But here's his killer pitch. It's the circle change. See, the index finger and the thumb are making a circle, and the other 3 fingers hold the ball loosely. And it takes a lot of speed off the ball, and it allows it to drop when it gets to home plate. It's a terrific pitch. 4-pitch guy.
Cuts him off with a fastball there to get Dennis Wyrick, third baseman. He's played outstanding defensively so far in this game. His first at bat. This is a bulky guy. He takes a strike on the outside corner for 0-2. Bottom of the order for Arizona State, the 8 and 9 hitters. They try to get back those 4 runs that the Titans put on. You see the power he's got. Turner's playing in the outfield at shortstop. Those are the breaking pitch and got him. So 3-pitch strikeout out of Dennis Wyrick.
Might have been a circle change. It dropped at the last instant there. And here's the grip that you use for the circle change. Okay, here's my grip now. I'm showing you the grip. See the circle of the index finger right here and the thumb, and that is the position. Now you just place the fingers loosely, the remaining 3 fingers on the ball, and throw as hard as you can.
First pitch swinging, sending David Fisher back towards the warning track and making the catch of Tuffy Goswitch in the second out here. So pretty good answer. This is what you want when you put 4 on the board, is to shut down the opposition in their next at bat.
That is a key point, Gary, what you just said. Now, his teammates have just gotten him 4 runs. For him to go out there and throw strikes is absolutely essential now. To show his teammates, thanks a lot, guys. Now I'm going to try to get him out. I'm going to throw strikes, and you try to retire him for me. It's a confidence-building kind of theme. You score, I'll pitch.
He is in a groove right now. One guy that might be able to get him out of that is this man, Dustin Pedroia, who had an 0-2 hole his first time up and eventually saw 11 pitches before popping out to shortstop. Oh, and 1 Suzuki set up on the inner half, and instead it goes outer, and he gets the ground into shortstop. So a 1-2-3 inning. In fact, he's only given up 1 base runner. Jason Windsor has him hitless through 3 against the best hitting team in the country. Back at Goodwin Field, Cal State Fullerton put up 4 in their half of the second inning. And top of the third, Jason Windsor continued his dominance at the top hitting team in the country. Jerry, he hasn't allowed him a hit.
Yeah, he had 1 minor glitch. He walked a man and then balked him to second base. Otherwise, he's been flawless.
Well, the balk has been one of the features of this game so far by home plate umpire Scott Graham. But it'll be interesting to see as Arizona State gets around him the second time, and then hopefully the third time, see if anything changes. That inning, though, as he got around to Pedroia the second time, he looked stronger than he did when he faced him in the first.
Coming off a 4-run burst by his teammates, the half inning before that was absolutely important. He did it, and now they're on the bench and hoping for more runs.
Richie Burgos, a .327 average in the year, hit just 3 home runs. In fact, this team hit only 31 home runs, but they only gave up 30. So you can see that they're pitching dominant. Eric Averill having a little conversation now with his first baseman, Jeff Larish. Still action in the bullpen. I assume it's still McClellan warming up for Arizona State.
They're still very much in the game. Arizona State has got to stop the bleeding, though, and give them a chance to catch up here in the early stages of the game. 4-0 means nothing to them. They can come back quickly with their power.
Nice breaking pitch here to get Burgos way on the front.
Well, this is the killer to a left-handed hitter. Oh boy, that broke down and away, and Burgos is a good hitter, cleanup hitter. Had no chance on that one. Perfect pitch.
Wastes that one away, and it's even at 2-2. He has not gotten the first batter out in the first 2 innings. Turner led off the game with a single, but got stranded last inning. Pilateri had a double. He went on to score. Let's see if he can get Burgos here. The cleanup hitter leading off the 3rd inning. And now he's worked the count full.
Well, he didn't want to go 3-2 with him, Gary, on the leadoff hitter. He wanted to throw that curveball for a strike. He missed by a little bit. You don't want this leadoff man to get on. He's going to have to challenge him now, try to get that ball over. I suspect he'll go with the fastball. We'll see.
3-2 pitch. Breaking pitch, and he got him swinging his 3rd strikeout.
So much for my pitching knowledge. He went with an off-speed pitch. I believe it might have been the changeup. Both of these pitchers have a terrific changeup. Let's see. Here's the pitch, and it's going down. It looks like the changeup. Might have been the curve. If it was the curve, this is how he holds it. He holds it with that middle finger, a lot of pressure on that middle finger. Mind you, he's a left-handed pitcher, so that middle finger really gives it a good snap at the end, and that allows a big break.
Chopper, Wyrick in fair territory, didn't get signaled yet. He called a foul. The home plate umpire made that call.
Yeah, the home plate umpire has the responsibility to call that ball before it gets to the bag. Once it passes the bag, either first or third, there's Scott Graham. And he made the call quickly, and it went as a foul ball. It was very close. You see the bouncer down there. Now you see Wyrick. It's foul ball. He catches it outside the line, and there's Scott Graham right away signaling foul ball. Third base umpire made not a motion at all. He shouldn't until the ball goes past the base. Then it's his responsibility.
Inside corner for a strike then, P.J. Pilateri. Pilateri had a big double to lead off the 2nd inning, in which they put up 4 runs on Arizona State. And nearly 400 on the season. Fouled it into the mitt. Catcher Tuffy Goosewich. Goosewich makes the strikeout for number 4.
There's the changeup. It floats away from the right-hander Pilateri. You see that. It was off speed. He held back pretty well, but it was a tough pitch, a perfect pitch by the young freshman Averill, and down he goes on the changeup.
Danny Dorn got hit by a pitch last time. 16th batter that Averill's hit this year. Of course, Cal State Fullerton makes a practice of getting hit. They've been hit over 100 times this year as a team.
I don't know if we can track that statistic down nationally, but that may be more hit by pitches than any team in the country. Over 100.
That may sum up the rest of the Big West Conference. The other teams in the conference combined may not have 100 hit by pitch.
I tell you, who's also good at that is Long Beach State, who won the Big West Championship, Conference Championship. Fullerton finished 2nd, and they're both very good at it. They should be making an effort to get out of the way. That's the umpire's discernment.
There's a good pitch that breaks in right over the inside corner. Pitching, this is by far his most effective inning here.
Yes. Got the first 2 hitters easily. He's ahead of this hitter, Danny Dorn.
Trying to strike out the side. He did it!
Excellent pitches by the
5th strikeout of the game. He strikes out the side here in the 3rd. Now we're going to see if this vaunted Arizona State offense can surface. It's 4-0 Fullerton as we go to the 4th with Averill striking out the side. Back at Goodwin Field, you see the heritage here of the Titans, the championships. Augie Garrido, the coach who had him here. Tim Wallach, a Golden Spikes winner. Phil Nevin as well, and Mark Kotze. And this is a team that gets its guys to come back. Phil Nevin, of course, can't be playing for San Diego right now. He's injured, out possibly for the season, although if you ask Phil, he says he's going to play this year for the Padres. But
I hope he does. Terrific player. I coached him on the 1991 Pan American team, the USA national team. What a great hitter.
Number 1 overall pick when he came out of Cal State Fullerton. Took him a while to find his stride in the major leagues.
Well, he had a hot temper, as a matter of fact, and he finally learned to control that, and he's turned into a bona fide all-star ball player.
Did you see that temper surface
yeah,
in the USA team?
As a matter of fact, we did. He went on to play on the Olympic team in 1992, but nobody doubted his desire and his ability, but he just had a flashpoint a little low.
Easy to get to. Travis Buck pops up to shortstop Justin Turner. So you can see Pat Murphy in the background as we saw Buck in the box, and he must be wondering what's going on with his offense. There's Pat Murphy as Buck comes back to the dugout. One of the things he did do between innings there, and it hasn't helped his offense yet, but it certainly helped Averill. He had a little, almost a huddle. He has kind of a football mentality.
Yeah.
Had a huddle and said, what do you assume he said to him?
Well, Pat Murphy is a great motivator. He's an excellent coach, and he can get through to the guys. They believe in him. And I suspect, Gary, that he told them, look, guys, we can, 4 runs is nothing to us. Hang in there, relax, get your cuts, run the bases, just do your normal thing. We can catch him. Still early in the game. That kind of approach, and he's absolutely right. This ball club is explosive.
Andre Ethier hits one straight back to the screen. He fouled out to third base his first time up. They're still looking for their first hit.
Now, Windsor has really stopped these hot bats of Arizona State. 1 walk. He has struck out 2 and thrown hitless ball into the 4th inning. 1 out here in the 4th.
That one gets away. There are 8 super regionals going on. The winner of each will go to Omaha. Baylor and LSU is scoreless right now. And in the first game of the day, South Carolina beat North Carolina. So if the Gamecocks can win another one either tomorrow or Sunday, they're in Omaha.
There's a
soft hit, the first of the game for Arizona State, as Ethier just lofts it into left field.
Ethier is one of the underrated players on this ball club. Andre Ethier, the center fielder, is hitting .373, has 9 home runs and 66 RBI, only a junior. And he doesn't get the kind of recognition that this young man, Jeremy West, who's hitting .384 with 17 home runs. The next hitter after that, Jeff Lehrer, 17 home runs, 92 RBI. But Andre Ethier is one of the solid key components of the offensive attack for Arizona State. He's on first now with the first hit of the game for them.
He now has a 21-game hitting streak with that first hit of the game for the Sun Devils. And here's a guy who came into the game with a 21-game hitting streak, Jeremy West.
West has great power. Tell that. 17 home runs. He's an All-American candidate this year. Hit .384.
Breaking pitch there. He has not thrown that very often today, but I think he might be throwing a little more after that.
He's relied on his fastball, spotting that well, and his changeup. And there was a good curve. If he can pull that out of the bag and start throwing strikes with that, he's well on his way to pitching a very good game against a powerful hitting team.
Gets Ethier back to the bag. You see Ethier carrying those gloves loose. A trend that a lot of base runners have these days to keep them from injuring their fingers, and would seem to indicate as that ball is smashed from left field for a line single. So both these hitting streaks extended now. Ethier's to 21 games, West to 22 games, and here comes that offense.
Well, he just threw a really good curve to West a moment ago. The next pitch, he tried it again. Another curve, but this time it hung. It hung, and he nailed it to left field just over the third baseman Prettyman's jump. Here's the swing. Oh, that is a pretty swing. You can see where he generates his power. He's got that hip out of there, that front hip, and that allows his shoulders to rotate, and the hands come with it. Line drive to left. First and second now. 1 out.
Talking about 2 guys in the draft this week. Ethier was drafted in the 2nd round by the A's, the 62nd overall pick. And Jeremy West was picked in the 7th round by the Red Sox.
So their talent is no secret. It's well known at the next level, and they have a high value placed upon them.
Well, here's Jeff Lehrer, who set an NCAA record with 4 grand slams. The team hit 14.
Yeah, that boggles my mind, Gary. Now, their home field back at Arizona State, Packard Stadium, Bobby Winkle's field at Packard Stadium, is a home run park. It's not easy to hit them out there, but it's not. They give up a lot of home runs in that park, but that many grand slams, wow.
Well, he's only got a chance for a 3-run homer here. But we mentioned that Cal State Fullerton keeps the ball in the park. They've only given up 30 home runs this year. None of them have been more than a 1-run or solo home run. So if Larish should take him deep here, it'd be the first time they've given up a home run with 2 guys on. Up and in.
You see Windsor moving that ball around, out and in, up and down. He has very good control, we know that. He's only walked 17 hitters in 77 innings coming into this game. And he tried to jam Larish with that inside fastball. Counts 2-1 now.
He did walk Larish last time. 2 on, 1 out. And he's missing away. That pitch looked like it got away from him.
Yeah, that was so far out of the strike zone. I think you're right. But he has to be careful. Larish has that good power. There's no secret. 17 home runs. 4 grand slammers, as you pointed out. There's Serrano, Dave Serrano, the pitching coach, flashing signs to Kurt Suzuki. He'll relay it out to Jason Windsor, and they'll try their best to get this long ball hitter out of here. But this could really turn things around. If he could pull one out of here, go deep. 3-run homer, we'll see. 3-1.
David Fisher not playing particularly deep in right field. A huge cut there and fouled back to the screen.
Oh, Gary, did he have a good cut his right? He was right on it. When the ball is fouled straight back like that was, watch now the good swing and watch the ball go straight back into the screen. That means he was right on it. He had the timing perfect as far as getting the hands and the bat barrel out there. He was just a trifle underneath it.
You would think that if he goes off speed here, he might have him in front. But he goes fastball and strikes him out. Huge strikeout with 2 aboard.
Well, he went downstairs, down at the knees with a good fastball, and it was a strike right at the knees. Larish had a pretty good cut at it, but it was a tough pitch to hit. Down and away. That's the weakness for most hitters. Down and away.
Steve Garabrandt flew out to right last time. It'll take a 2-out hit here to get Arizona State on the board. Ethier at second base, West at first. They both got hits to extend hitting streaks to 21 and 22 games. Now we can't overstate this offense. Last week they outscored the 3 opponents 45-3, including, as we mentioned earlier, a 12-run 9th inning. But even take that away, and it's 33-3.
Yeah, they really overpowered those 3 teams participating in that region.
That ball's hit hard to right. Fisher's right there in his tracks. So 2 flyouts to right for Garabrandt. Jason Windsor stiffens up after putting the first 2 runners on singles, and he's still got the shutout going as Prettyman is due up.
Well, last inning, Gary, Averill struck out 3 hitters, and he struck them all out with good off-speed curves. Here's the first one. Last inning, now the first hitter, he gets Burgess with a curve. Next hitter, Pilateri, also with a curveball. And the final, Danny Dorn, an outstanding curve, all down in the strike zone. See if he can duplicate that this inning.
David Fisher will lead off. He's one of 5 strikeout victims. Eric Averill. Solid single to left, and it's taken forever to get out of the box. Barely beat out a single to left, and he's hurt himself as well. David Fisher holding his hand. And I think that's part of why I think he fell down in pain.
You know, I did not see him. I was following the ball up at the plate, and he hit that. He hung a curve. Averill hung a curve to Fisher, and he rifled a line drive to left field. Let's see what happens now after he swings the bat, makes contact. There's the curve, good curve, but he stays back and he hit it. Oh, it looked like either the bat swung around and hit his knee, or he pulled a groin.
What was interesting though is he was holding his hand as he got down to first base.
Now, it might be that he his hand rotated and twisted in such a way that...
Yeah, see him holding his wrist there?
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't the bat or his groin. Somehow, that hand, when he made the swing and made the contact, twisted, and he strained his wrist. Now, the other outfielder, this is David Fisher, who's starting in right field. He's starting in place of Kyle Bowler. Let's see now if we can find out exactly what happened. Here's the contact. Okay. And he finally gets up and he gets down there, and right away his left arm goes limp and he begins to hold it. It might be that it went to sleep on him. I hope that's all it is. He's telling George Horton, number 8, his coach, hey, I'm okay. Skip, leave me in. I'm all right.
It looks like he's in some pain, though, Jerry.
Yeah, he has a grimace.
I think what it looked like he had an incredible follow-through on that swing, and maybe the bat stuck as he followed through and hit on the back and maybe twisted something in his wrist.
There's a lot of little bones in that wrist, in the hand that he might have. Something might have got caught, stuck in there. But anyway, he's okay. That's David Fisher. Line drive single, start the inning off. His wrist's okay.
So just we're showing Eric Averill getting all 3 batters on strikeouts, and he had struck out David Fisher the first time he faced him. He leads off with a line single to left. He might get activity again in the Arizona State bullpen.
This might be a place for a bunt. Try to move that guy into second base. Prettyman the hitter, left-handed hitter. There it is.
Prettyman lays it down. This is a guy who got a 2-run triple to the opposite field last time up.
Makes no difference what he did last time, Gary, because he could have hit a 5-run homer last time. He'd still be bunting. That's how important each run is to George Horton. There's Rick Vanderhook, the third base coach, shouting encouragement to Prettyman. Probably bunting again.
Came into the game as a .358 hitter, kind of an open stance against the lefty. Goes the other way. Pedroia it, and they're going to turn 2. Great play by Dustin Pedroia.
This was an inning breaker for Arizona State. A double play on a guy who runs pretty good. There's Pedroia delivering the ball over to his second baseman, Steve Garabrandt, and on to first for the double play. Another look. This is made to order double play, but it's not easy because the hitter can run. Prettyman is a good runner down the line, and those 2 guys, short to second to first, turn a great double play for Arizona State.
Takes something off that pitch and gets Karopsy out in front. Karopsy had an RBI single last time. Jason Little. Tiny Titan, second baseman. Shallow center field. Ethier is there. And a 1-2-3 inning with a single mixed in. So Averill has settled down, but they're going to have to get the Jason Windsor for Arizona State to get back in this game in the 5th. Back at Goodwin Field in Fullerton, California. Cal State Fullerton up 4-0 on Arizona State. Gary Miller and Jerry Kendall with you. And Jerry, you like that defense.
Oh yes, as middle infielder myself. This is such a great double play. It's the 65th double play for Arizona State. Now, we've been giving the Cal State Fullerton defense a lot of credit. We have to also pay credit to the Arizona State defense. Their team percentage fielding is .973. That's 11th in the country. There's Justin Pedroia, the shortstop, who just started that outstanding double play, and that saved the inning for Eric Averill, the pitcher, and the Sun Devils, because he had given up a base hit to the leadoff man. He was erased in that double play. Gets the next man out. Here they are up at plate.
First pitch swinging, and it's hacked deep to the gap. That's going to bang off the wall for extra bases. So Nick Walsh jumps on the first pitch, and Arizona State tries to get something going. It's the first time they've had a leadoff hitter on, and we're in the 5th.
Nick Walsh doesn't have as much attention as many of the Sun Devil hitters, but he is a very good hitter. He came into the game hitting .355, and he nails this ball deep into right field. One hops the fence, and I bet he's feeling pretty good about it. There he is, coasting in. Yes, sir. He's telling the guys, okay, nobody out. Get me in. Let's get on the board.
I got this thing started. What are you going to do about it?
There you go.
Let's see what Dennis Wyrick's got in mind. And Walsh trying to be a pest at second base. Wyrick squares up the bunt and takes it for a strike.
I don't think he was sacrificing. I think he was going to push it down the first base line for a base hit attempt, because this is not the time for a sacrifice bunt. Down 4 runs. Dennis Wyrick has to get himself on base now to perpetuate perhaps a multiple run inning.
Breaking behind, they had the play on, but Walsh was ready.
So Dennis Wyrick up the plate now, hitting .356, having a good year. 1 home run, 34 home runs, but excuse me, 34 RBI, and senior third baseman. But he has to do all he can to get himself on base now.
Goes the other way, so he's going to at least get the runner into third base, 90 feet away.
Hit the ball sharply, and he did move the runner over to third base with less than 2 outs. So that much he accomplished. Does a nice job of staying with this pitch. Pitches away and down. Fastball down. Watch him stay with it. His eyes were on it. The upper part of his body stayed right with it. It's really a nice piece of hitting. And he hits the ball sharply to second base. He's an out, but importantly, he advances Nick Walsh over third base. Now, it's important for the Sun Devils to get this guy in and get on the board.
Tuffy Goswitch takes a strike. The Arizona State catcher. As we watched Wyrick in the dugout there, Jerry, we saw Pat Murphy twirling his finger as sort of a sign. You think he was talking to Tuffy or to Walsh at third base?
He was telling Walsh to go on a ground ball. He was pointing down, and twirling it means you're running.
You're on contact?
Yeah. You're going to go accept on the ball to the pitcher. The third baseman is playing, Prettyman is playing back pretty far. He could score on a ground ball to the third baseman, but certainly at short, you see it panned by the camera. Short, second, and first, they're going to concede the run.
They're very deep.
That's what Murphy was telling the runner. You're going on a ground ball.
Turner's on the grass. That ball is going to be a no-doubter. Bounces off the mound into center field. Arizona State's on the board, and they brought a pretty good crowd with them. And they are excited about their first run of the game.
Well, we're nearing the halfway point, Jerry, this game, so they had to get on the board. Goswitch does it for them. Ninth hitter gets an off-speed pitch, drives it right up the middle, and scores his teammate Nick Walsh.
There you see they extend their NCAA record. 499 consecutive games now without being shut out. Last team to shut out Pat Murphy's team was Southern Cal. And they had that famous game the last time they were in the College World Series, that final against Southern Cal.
I think it was 17-12. Something
See,
like
I got it here somewhere in my notes.
It was just an absolute slugfest.
Yeah, it was actually, there were a lot of criticism of college baseball over that game because it was so offensive, but actually it was a very fascinating game. Top of the order, Dustin Pedroia has not been on yet. There's his mom in the stands, Debbie Pedroia. Maybe she knows she's on TV. Took the sunglasses off, adjusting.
Smile, Mom. You know, you're talking about that 1998 championship game. That also signaled the absolute urgency of toning down the aluminum bat. Bring it more in compliance with the wooden bat.
Pedroia pops out to second base for the second out here in the fifth. You know, it was interesting, Coach. They had the new set of bats this year, and they were aluminum bats breaking because they're trying to get them down to the same quality as a wooden bat, and they weren't made right.
Well, they've put in 3 very important restrictions on the aluminum bat right after that 1998 slugfest. The first was that a 3-unit differential. I'll make this quick. A bat cannot weigh less than 3 ounces, less than its weight, less than its length. So if it's a 34-inch bat, it cannot weigh less than 31 ounces. And then also 2 5/8 diameter. They narrowed that down from 2 3/4. And the final is a 94-mile-an-hour exit speed of the ball off the bat. Now those 3 restrictions have done a great deal in the intervening time to bring the aluminum bat more into performance like a wood bat. And yes, they're breaking more too.
Amazing. Travis Buck fouls that one out of play. He's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a pop up to short. The last time that Arizona State was shut out was April 7th of 1995. against USC.
Well,
that's a streak.
I was coaching 6 games against them in '95. I know we didn't shut them out.
95 was the year when Cal State Fullerton won it all. Mark Kotze on that team.
They've always been a run-scoring machine. I began coaching at the University of Arizona in 1973. And Jim Brock, the late Jim Brock, was the coach then. And always they could hit and they could score.
Pops that one to left. His tracks is Danny Dorn. Arizona State gets on the board, but after that, Jason Windsor holds them down. An RBI single by Tuffy Ghostwich has made it 4-1 Titans. Cal State Fullerton's last championship there, signified in orange, 1995. And we'll see Tony Martinez against Southern Cal. Southern Cal always seems to play into these things. Mark Kotze was the player of the year that year, Jerry. And
there's the last out now. SC skies to left field. There's the final out. Here comes the celebration. Oh, this special moment. You guys never forget that moment. Champions of the College World Series.
There's Coach George Horton, was on that 1979 team. Kotze's retired, I guess remembered number they call it here, because you have to graduate. These guys haven't graduated yet. I just found that out today.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so they call it remembered number.
Get your degree, we'll retire. Phil Nevin was just in the press box a moment ago saying hello to you, Gary, and to me. And he is also a Golden Spikes winner. Player of the year, along with Kotze.
Justin Turner, 5-for-13, as you saw in the postseason, as they won the regional last week here. He's 1 for 2 today. He struck out his last time up, led off the game in the bottom of the first with a single. Eric Averill sort of hung in there. His team now within 3. He thought he was going to get knocked out. He gave up 4 in the second inning.
Well, he's recovered nicely. Together with the double play last inning, he's retired 7 in a row since that 4-run inning. And he has to keep up the good work to keep them close now. We're in the second half of this game.
Reaches for a pitch out of the strike zone. Weirich with a strong arm throws him out at first, so he gets the leadoff batter. He's only done that twice today. We are at Goodwin Field in Fullerton, California. Your Super Regionals. Gary Miller and Jerry Kendall with you, the coach from Arizona, who has been so involved with college baseball over the years. And we saw the emotion spilling out there in '95. You know, they have the statue now in Omaha in appreciation of that. But even at this level, even in the regionals, even in the conference tournament, Coach, you know that's the great thing about college baseball is the emotion.
There is such a tremendous feeling among the players and coaches and the fans. College baseball is where it's at. Now, I'm a fan of pro ball, too, believe me. I love professional big league baseball. But college ball is something special. There's an element to it of purity, I think, that the people appreciate it, and the players really love it, and they play hard. And these two teams are among the top, among the top 5 teams in the country. Fullerton ranked 3rd and in several polls, and Arizona State ranked 4th. So we're seeing some quality baseball here in this region. There's Bob Welch, by the way.
Hey, there he is.
In the warm-up seat. Former Cy Young Award winner.
He's helping out. Chris Citatore, the Arizona State pitching coach.
You remember back in 1990, Bob Welch, pitching for the Oakland Athletics, won the Cy Young Award. Now he's an administrator, not so much a coach. He's the director of baseball operations.
Great pitch there. Always got that great breaking pitch.
This is the curveball, and retires a really good hitter in Shane Costa. He doesn't strike out much. You see the ball breaking away. He has no chance. He shouldn't be disgusted with himself. That pitch was a big league pitch for the young freshman, Averill. Nobody can hit that one, Shane. Don't be down on yourself.
Just the 22nd time he has struck out. He's a second-team All-American. An RBI single was the last time they've knocked in a run. It was all came in the second inning. A 2-out single by Costa was the last run scored. Kurt Suzuki, 2 for 11 in the postseason, including 0 for 2 today. 4 of the last 8 hitters, half of them have struck out now.
He settled down nicely. If we count in that double play after the single by Fisher, then he's retired. That is 9 in a row. 9 in a row.
So he's actually gotten better the next time around the orders. He comes the third time around. We'll see if Jason Windsor can have the same success the third time around when we go to the 6th inning for Arizona State. Ethier and West both got singles off him last time. Let's see if they can get an inning going. If Avril's able to shut down the Titans here. Hard shot foul.
Remember back early in the game, Kurt Suzuki up at the plate now took a flying bat into the wrist, into his left wrist, standing in the on-deck circle. His teammate, Shane Costa, let the bat, no, I'm sorry, it was Justin Turner, let the bat go and struck him like a boomerang would sail into a person in the wrist. But he's okay now. He doesn't show any effects of it.
Full count. There's a fan of the Arizona State offense so far today, I guess. You came expecting him to get 10 runs. Well, we're only halfway through, kid. Come on, wake up. Good perspective of what you'd see if you were here in Goodwin Field. That's a pretty good seat. Hard smash again, so he's clearly looking to pull the ball.
Well, Averill's pitching him in. Suzuki crowds the plate. When he takes his position in the box again, you can see that he's really crowding the plate. And so the normal way to pitch a guy who's up on the plate that much is to jam him inside. Come inside with some good stuff, normally the fastball. But he's got a quick bat. You see now that he's into the plate. He's up on the plate.
Oh, man, what a change of speeds there to get his man. 7 strikeout by Averill. He retires them in order. So he has found his command. But can Arizona State's offense wake up against Jason Windsor? It's 4-0 Titans as we go to the 6th at Goodwin Field in the Super Regional. We're back at Goodwin Field in Fullerton, Super Regional action as Cal State Fullerton leads Arizona State 4-1. They finally got a run off Jason Windsor in the 5th, but pretty impressive stuff so far against the best hitting team in the country.
I should say he's given up only 4 hits, 1 run, 2 hits in the 4th, left both stranded, and then 2 hits in the 5th. Which drove in Walsh for the only run from Cal State Fullerton, but he's been extremely effective against one of the most potent attacks, offensive attacks in, well, the most potent attack in college baseball this year.
Andre Ethier got a single off him last time. First pitch swinging right back to the screen, so he's been on it. Ethier extended his hitting streak to 21 games with that single in the 4th. It was the first hit of the game off Windsor.
Andre Ethier, there we see him. He's having a hot postseason, hitting almost 500. You know, he also has a rather wide backswing. Watch where this bat goes. Boom! Right into the catcher Suzuki's head. Fortunately, he was wearing a helmet. Oh, he's tipped over a little bit there. Yeah.
He's hit himself with a bat. Now he's on deck circle with his own teammate, and now Ethier's picking on him.
Better wear that equipment all over the field.
0-1 pitch. Set up away, and he'll foul it away.
Ethier is one of 7 of the Sun Devils who made the all-regional tournament team last week. And they're steamrolling over the 3 teams in their regional. Andre Ethier picked in the outfield on the all-tournament team, along with 6 of his teammates.
Inside corner painted for a called strike 3.
Well, he locked him up. He came right back inside. Windsor did on Ethier. Watch this for strike 3. Comes inside. He thinks it's going to stay inside, but it tailed back and got the inside corner. Whoops. That's how Whitey Ford used to strike people. He'd throw a fastball at would dive back in over the corner on him. Remember Whitey Ford?
Oh, yeah.
You and I may be the only ones. Going way back in history.
Let's see. Who do we have here that would remember Whitey Ford?
Please bail me out. Give me one of his teammates. The Yankees. Mickey Mantle. Okay.
Tom Tresh.
There you go.
Kubek.
Oh, you got a bunch of them.
Sky high pop. Those are the days when you didn't play college baseball if you were going to make it to the big leagues.
Very seldom.
Foul. Jeremy West is fouling out to Burgos. So here's what's happened so far today. South Carolina at home in Columbia knocks off North Carolina by a run, so they're a win from Omaha. LSU is trailing at home against Baylor 1-0. Later tonight, it's Long Beach State who edged Cal State Fullerton for the Big West title up at the Farm in Stanford. And the rest of the games that you see will all be played in a Saturday, Sunday, Monday sequence. Our games are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, including those you saw there in the game we're watching here, Cal State Fullerton and Arizona State. Here's the other half of the bracket after Jeff Larish steps in. He's 3 for 12 in the postseason, 0 for 1 today with a walk and a strikeout. It'll take a 2-out rally for Arizona State. Here's a look at tomorrow's games. 8 teams heading for Omaha. Who will there be? Direct ticket pay-per-view. You can watch any of those games. So if you're an alum, Texas-Florida State is one of the more intriguing matchups as the defending champions go against a perennial appearer in Omaha. Florida State. North Carolina State is at Miami, another team with a dominant presence in Omaha. Houston Rice, the cross-city rivalry going there. So you can pick up those games on direct ticket pay-per-view. And of course, ESPN and ESPN2 will be carrying national games and regional coverage as well over the weekend. Check your local listings. 2-1 count. Larish swims through that one and make it 2-2.
Well, he nicked plate umpire Scott Graham right in the left shoulder, and he's hurt. He's not going to rub it. He's not going to make anybody feel sorry for him. And we'll see the foul tip straight back into Graham's shoulder right there. Watch that left shoulder. Ouch. That actually got him down in the upper arm, I think.
Yeah, no padding there.
And there might not be enough padding there to make a difference. So, well, Scott, he's the crew chief of this fine umpiring group. There are 4 umpires at every one of the super regional games. The other umpires, Scott Irby, A.J. Lastiglio, and Steve Ricky Kirani.
We'll try that again next time, Coach. But strikeout number 5. Windsor has been impeccable. He strikes out 2 of the 3-4-5 hitters, and Windsor has got it rolling. He maintains his 4-1 lead as they come to the bottom of the 6th in Fullerton. We're back at Goodwin Field in Fullerton, California. Averill's been outstanding since that bad second inning.
Well, he struck out 7. That's a career high for him up to this point. A lot of them are an off-speed pitches. There's one right there. That's his 3rd strike. Here's the 4th. Fastball away. 5th strikeout. Curveball down. And here comes Shane Costa. Curveball away. He goes down. And so does Kurt Suzuki on a curveball. He has been masterful with that off-speed pitch.
His team is going to have to figure out Jason Windsor. Ties his career high. He won other time was the very first game he started against Hawaii Hilo back in January. The ball is going to chase Travis Buck to the wall, and he makes the catch in right center on the warning track for the first out. Ricky Gorgas flying out to right.
Pretty deep, but the balls in this ballpark from the gaps on over, Gary. This is about this is the 6th game I've seen in the last 2 weekends here at Goodwin Field. They don't fly out of here from the gaps, in between the gaps. Down the lines, they will.
That ball is hit hard and through the right side past Steve Garabont. And a base hit for Pilateri, who's got 2 hits today.
One of the reasons that the Titans do not have as many home runs as some of the other top teams in the country, as they play here in Goodwin Field. In center field, from right center over to left center, that's where fly balls go to die. They just don't carry well out there. The wind does not prevail out that often in that direction to center field, and down the lines it's something else again. 330 down the lines.
Another breaking pitch. This one's going to be trouble. No, looks like Buck will have it there. I thought it might die in between him and second base, but it's his second put out here in the sixth as Danny Dorn goes down.
Right fielder number 20, David Fisher.
So Eric Averill, one of 6 freshman All-American in this game, 2 for Arizona State, 4 on Cal State Fullerton. So they're going to be a power for a while, and they got a shot to win it all this year.
Very much indeed. Both teams are strong contenders, and with a great future, as you pointed out. The freshman and sophomore dotted throughout their lineup.
In fact, that was the combo there of the freshman All-American, as Buck has made both putouts. He's the other freshman All-American for Arizona State. David Fisher, a late addition to get him one more righty in the lineup, but another guy hurt on a swing. And that ball's right in front of us here in the stands, and Fisher's holding his hand again.
Now remember, in fact, he's taking himself out. He can't swing the bat.
He's holding his arm limp now.
Here is the foul ball, and here's the foul ball. You see his arm, his left arm just hanging limp. There's something. I hope it's not serious, but takes a pretty good cut. But right there, he has to drop the bat and then twist it again, and something went haywire with that wrist. And he'll have to be replaced. He just walked straight to the dugout, and they're tending to him. Now they're feeling in his shoulder as well. You know, I think, Gary, his arm went numb. The way he just dropped it at the side, almost as if it was paralyzed.
Here's what he did last time they originally injured himself. You know, what's interesting is he ended up getting a single after this.
He bounces up and gets to first base. He doesn't stay down there long, but this is the one just now. And you can see his arm just go limp, and he turned around and went straight to the dugout. There he is, getting tended to. And replacing him, Justin Smyers. And they don't lose.
It looks like he has a pre-existing condition because you can see the wrap on him.
That might be. They're tending to him right away. So
he's got a bad shoulder, and with a swing like that, you could see where he could really aggravate it. He really comes off the bat.
Well, he replaced in the starting lineup just a few minutes before game time. He replaced another injured outfielder, Kyle Bowler. But they don't lose much now with this replacement, Justin Smyers, a senior, Paso Robles. He can really run. He's the fastest player on the team, can play all positions. He's an infielder by trade, but he can also play in the outfield. And he's going to finish the at-bat now for David Fisher. Comes in hitting .282, 4 home runs and 30 RBI.
So it's now a 2-1 count. He takes that off the plate, so suddenly he's worked to 3-1. As Eric Averill has to get used to a different hitter. He's got a man aboard. Pilateri had a base hit, sandwiched around 2 flyouts to right. Big hack there, foul back to the screen. Almost left his feet.
Smyers, he was sitting on the bench for 5.5 innings, and suddenly, right in the middle of an at-bat, he's called on to go up and try to solve the slants here of the left-hander, Averill. Not an easy task.
So we have another balk. That's 3 balks in the game, 2 on Averill.
I think what happens here, he didn't pause. There has to be a discernible pause after he comes to the set and his arms come down. Couldn't tell from behind him, but let's see now.
Horton's coming out to check this with home plate umpire Scott Graham too. I think he's seen enough of this.
Now, why would George be disputing that? Why would he be having some debate with the umpire? Because his... Well, that was ball 4. That's right. The umpire lost.
He got so distracted by the balk call.
Well, the balk call plus the fact that this is 2 hitters up there for the same at-bat. Because Smyers just replaced the injured David Fisher after the first strike to the plate. And
now Pat Murphy wants the next one.
I believe it is that he just made a mistake and probably went back to a fresh count on his ball strike little clicker that he holds in his hand. When the new batter came up to replace Fisher in the middle of the at-bat. That's my only explanation.
Is a balk an automatic ball?
No, the balk is dead. Well, you know, Gary, I'm not really sure. It might be what we call a delayed call, delayed dead ball.
Wasn't that pitch called a strike? He fouled that pitch off, right?
I wish I could shed more light on it. I'm sorry.
Why did Fisher have to go to the game? We're all confused. But he delivered that pitch, and that's what happened. He fouled it off, and he ends up with a walk because the ball is a ball.
Okay.
So it became ball 4 instead of foul ball strike.
I think you're absolutely right. Yes. Yes. Because the balk was delivered before the umpire could stop the delivery, it becomes a ball. So that counts, and that goes as ball 4 then for the hitter Smyers.
Biggest batter of the game, but not on this at bat. Prettyman, who had a 2-run triple, taps out weakly to second. So they get 2 aboard on a confusing inning. They don't put any more there, but they still have the 3-run lead. We're back at Goodwin Field. Gary Miller and Jerry Kendall with you. Cal State Fullerton up 4-1 over Arizona State. And here's an alum of Arizona State.
Oh, that's a familiar face. And that's Barry Bonds, of course. He was just as tough to get out in college ball. He's doubling off the wall there. This is their championship in 1981.
These are the active major leaguers. Paul Aduca with the Dodgers. Fernando Vina on the disabled list right now for St. Louis. Phil Nevin, who stopped by the booth on his way here. The reason that Phil Nevin is here, the #1 overall pick from the former Titan team, is his daughter has a tournament game in the area. That ball is skied to right for the first out here in the top of the 7th inning. So he got permission from Bruce Bochy to take the night off. He thinks he'll be back playing by August.
I hope so. Padres need him.
Now, I believe, we're saying that's Justin Smyers, but I believe actually Kyle Boyer came in the game in the spot where Smyers hit for Fisher, and that Shane Costa has moved to right field.
Yes, that's right. George Horton did not want Boyer to swing the bat because he is hampered by a strained abdominal muscle. You just saw him in center field, number 22. So he's gone into center field following the at-bat by Justin Smyers in David Fisher's spot. And Costa has moved over to right field.
Which is where he was going to play when we got our first lineup today from George Horton. So now he's back over there.
I've got to believe George is a little bit apprehensive about putting Boyer in the lineup because he was hurting before the game. But he has to now to protect his 4-1 lead. He has to have some speed in the outfield.
And you have to wonder the availability of David Fisher for the remaining 2 games in this series, if we need to.
Well, it could be a very costly loss for the Cal State Fullerton Titans because they're limited to 25 men on the roster for the regional play. For NCAA play, you're limited to 25 men. And
there's David Fisher.
There he is. You
can see the wrap on his left shoulder there. He's had some back problems this year, so it could be related to that.
Yeah,
he's in pain, I think.
I hope he'll be ready tomorrow, but I wonder.
So this is Kyle Boyer in center field.
He's a very good player. Kyle Boyer is one of their starters normally, hitting .338. He's in the lineup now. He started every game except 1 of the season. So he's a key player, but he's hurt by a bit of an injury.
Nick Walsh gives it a shot. Let's see what Boyer's got. Right in his tracks, makes the catch. Walsh, who doubled near that spot last time, flies out to center field. He has scored the only run of the game for Arizona State.
Well, he hit the ball very hard, but it doesn't carry out there in the distance. Center field, right center, left center, and dead center. The ball just doesn't carry. That ball was really nailed.
Here's Dennis Wyrick. He looks like he could play for the Sun Devil football team. Pat Murphy's third baseman. So how much of a shock is this for you, Jerry? A team that averages over 10 runs a game, led the nation in batting.
The adage in baseball has long been for over a century. good pitching will beat good hitting. We're seeing it take place today. Justin Windsor is pitching a remarkable game, and he's pitching against the toughest hitters, the toughest team offensively in the country. And here he is. He's pitched a 4-hitter so far into the 7th, 1 run only.
Well, there you see, so far, number 1 in batting at .352 is giving way to the number 2 ERA in the country at .275 for Cal State Fullerton, and nothing has gone out today on 2 teams, one that loves to hit home runs, and Cal State Fullerton doesn't rely on the long ball very much. That ball is hammered into the right center field gap. Costa going to try and cut it off, and he does, and holds Wyrick to a single.
That was really good hitting. Now, Dennis Wyrick hit the ball hard in that direction in the 5th inning. He hit the ball hard on the ground to the second baseman. He was retired, but he did the same thing. He went with the pitch so nicely. Oh, that's a beautiful stroke on a pitch away from you, keeping your weight back, keeping your hands back, and an inside-out swing, and he hits a line drive to right field. Great hitting, Dennis Wyrick, senior 3rd baseman. He's a great story, by the way. He's had a kind of a checkered career in 4 years at Arizona State, but he has persevered. That is checkered in his
personal life. Has been an incredible story, too.
Yeah, it's really a tender story. He was abandoned by his parents. Talk about Dennis Wyrick, the runner at first base. There he is. Abandoned by his parents as an infant. He was raised by a foster family, and he made it. And God bless the foster family that took such good care of him. And here he is now. He's been drafted, and he's a senior, and having played shortstop, he's caught for the Sun Devil team in his 4 years there. He's played the outfield. He's been designated hitter. He's had 3 good years, 1 bad year. He's having a really good year now as a senior. But I think it's a great story, and I have tremendous admiration for this young man. There he is, Dennis Wyrick.
Well, he's one of those guys where baseball, in some ways, saved his life. I mean, he was taken in by the guys family that coached him in Little League.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said that family and my love for baseball together saved my life.
They're supposed to be here today, and his father, who was one of those who abandoned him but has tried to come back in his life since he got to Arizona State, is also supposed to be here. He's battled with addiction throughout his life and personal problems of his own. And Dennis sometimes has trouble playing. He comes to his games when he's in the area, in the LA area, and he has not hit well except for 1 game when his dad's in attendance. But he got a base hit right there.
He's swinging the bat really good today.
Tuffy Goswitch has the only RBI of the game for this vaunted Sun Devil lineup. There's a 1-out single back in the 5th. And he pops this one up. Should be playable for, yeah, it's going to be played by the right fielder now, Shane Costa. I thought Karachi might get that one. But it's another scoreless inning for the Sun Devils. 4-1, bottom 7th. We're back here in Fullerton, Orange County, California. Cal State Fullerton up 4-1 on Arizona State's Titans. Gary Miller and Jerry Kendall with you here from Goodwin Field. And we're pretty fortunate, Coach. We got one of the great regionals. I mean, both of these teams are serious contenders for the national title.
We're seeing some great baseball, great pitching, both sides. Averill, the young freshman, has come back after that disastrous 2nd inning when he gave up 4 runs, and he's pitched just great. And of course, Jason Windsor has done a terrific job.
Yeah, you tend to give Windsor a little more credit because of the lineup and the numbers that he's going against in Arizona State. But Averill survived it. I didn't think he'd make it out of the 2nd inning, but he hasn't given up anything since. And here is Jason Karopsi, who has an RBI single off him, part of that 4-run 2nd.
Since the 2nd inning, he's only given up 2 hits.
Really settled down. He decided to go with a freshman to open up this super regional, to get the lefty in against 4 lefties in the Titan lineup. It's worked out except for that gaudy 2nd inning, and he goes with the pitch, and Karopsi gets a base hit. He's 2 for 3 on the day. Here's what's going on elsewhere in the super regionals. There are 8 of them across the country. South Carolina won today. Baylor has been tied now by LSU. The Tigers hosting that regional in Baton Rouge. We're trailing 1-0 most of the game. They have tied it now as they play the 7th tonight. Another great regional. Long Beach State is at the Farm in Stanford. And those two teams also. Long Beach State won the Big West barely over Cal State Fullerton. And they've got two incredible pitchers in Weaver and Alvarez. If they can make it, they are going to be a tall order for anybody in Omaha.
Here's the Turner now about to bunt the guy over. Oh, that's going to be a base hit.
Averill couldn't get to the bag in time. Good speed by Turner.
He placed it perfectly, Gary. The first baseman, the pitcher, and the second baseman, they form a triangle. One of them's got to make the play. And before any of them can get to it, here's the pitch now, and here's the bunt by Turner. He's going down the first base line all the way. It's a sacrifice. Okay, but look, he places it perfectly, and by the time that Averill breaks over to the mound, from the mound to first base, it's too late. Here's Averill, but it is too late. And they call him safe.
I think even if he had been on the bag, well, maybe.
Nicked it with his toe. Post play. So it was a great bunt by the Justin Turner, the freshman shortstop, and he beats it out. First and second now, nobody out. And this is absolutely critical place for Arizona State. They cannot give up any more runs and expect to win. Not against the pitching of Cal State Fullerton.
And Cal State Fullerton's deep. Even if they could get Windsor out of this game, they've got a great closer, and they go 9 deep on that pitching staff, and they're not afraid to use any. Wyrick breaks in from third. Costa squared and pulled back. You know, I think what really cost him there, and they could argue that maybe Averill got that bag, but because he had to break first to try and field the ball, it took him out of the direction to get to first. Otherwise, he'd have beaten him to the bag.
And that's the confusion that reigned between the three fielders, first base, second base, and pitcher. And that's why we call it the tough play. Now, the defense is set for the bunt. First and second, nobody out, 7th inning. And these runs are really critical to build a bigger lead for Fullerton. So Costa showed bunt the first pitch. Third baseman Wyrick is creeping in. First baseman Larish is creeping in. And the pitcher Averill to see if the batter commits. He just spun towards second to see with that movement if Costa would again show bunt. So the defense is set for the bunt. Now let's see if Costa does indeed bunt. Try to move these runners over.
Averill's made that move several times today to keep the runner in check.
Well, that's key. You've got to hold that runner close at second to create the possibility of a force play at third. Field the bunt and throw to third for the force. If he gets a big lead, they can't do it.
And Costa only had 2 successful sacrifices all season. You don't ask a guy who's a second-team All-American, 371 batting average, to bunt very often. But I think this is it's hard to say that that's a critical run when you're already up 4-1, but with a team that's hit 14 grand slams, you want to get at least a 4-run lead.
Well, we just saw a picture of George Horton, the Cal State Fullerton coach, and that's what he's thinking there, exactly what you...
Another ball.
Oh my gosh, he balked again.
And Pat Murphy sprints out of the dugout. He's getting a little tired of this becoming an offensive weapon.
Well, this time it's called by the second base umpire, A.J. Lastigdio.
Now he's explaining it.
Okay, we'll see if we can pick up the ball. Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He shook his hands. He dropped his hands. After coming to the set, he dropped his hands down lower. And did appear on the camera there, and the replay. There's Averill, kind of disgusted. And here's Pat Murphy arguing with the umpire, A.J. Lastigdio. Oh boy, that is really a damaging.
Well, there's the bunt.
Yeah, they didn't have to bunt now. He's still up there. Costa can hit away, and the infield is in. They're going to cut the run off.
You got a base open, and you got a second-team All-American up here who is the best hitter on this team. Do you go ahead and put him on?
I think he has to pitch.
You're already down by 3 runs.
I think he has to pitch to him because Kurt Suzuki coming up next. He's on deck, and I'll have a word to say about him in just a moment and why Pat Murphy knows that. He's going to pitch to Costa.
Nice pitch. Wow.
The batter on deck, Kurt Suzuki, the catcher, is called Kurt Clutch by his teammates. He's hitting .465 with runners in scoring position.
Wow.
20 for 43 with runners in scoring position. He's had 3 game-winning hits. the season already.
Oh, he strikes Shane Costa out for the second time in a row.
With that good curve. Boy, he really has it working for him. That's his best pitch today, no question. Take a look at getting Costa on the curveball. There it is, breaking away from him just like it was in the 5th inning. Perfect pitch, tough to handle.
Well, Chris Sinacori's coming out, and that's probably going to be it for Averill. Pat Murphy usually uses his pitching coach to make his pitching changes. You have to be really impressed. I think that was great decision making by them to go with the lefty against this lineup.
Yes.
Costa looked baffled on that.
And Averill has done a terrific job. And it's right. Pat Murphy made the right choice along with Chris Sinacori, his pitching coach, to go with the lefty. He did really a great job.
Mark Sopko will come on to pitch in relief for the Sun Devils. There's still only one out. Runners in scoring position as Eric Averill trots off the mound. Cal State Fullerton up 4-1. We're back in Fullerton. The day is done for Eric Averill, the freshman. Outstanding performance, 7 in the 3rd, 9 hits. He had 1 bad inning. Those 4 runs all came in the 2nd. He walked only 1 batter and threw just under 90 pitches.
He doesn't have to feel badly at all about his performance. Outside of that 2nd inning, as you pointed out, Gary, he was not just good, he was terrific. With his curveball and his changeup.
25th game for Mark Sopko out of their bullpen. Good strikeout pitcher, but his hits to innings ratio isn't overly impressive. Top 8 seeds coming into the regionals. Florida State is playing Texas at home in Tallahassee. LSU is hosting Baylor. Georgia Tech and Auburn were knocked off. Rice and Houston are staging a cross-city super regional. Stanford's hosting Long Beach State, the winners of the Big West Conference. The runners-up, Cal State Fullerton, are right here against Arizona State, and Miami is taking on North Carolina State. Because Georgia Tech and Auburn were knocked off, North Carolina and South Carolina are also in the super regionals, and South Carolina won the opener today, 5-4.
Oh, this is interesting, Gary. Pat Murphy is elected to pitch to Suzuki. I pointed out just a moment ago, this is the guy that, with most frequency, drives in the runs when they get to 2nd and 3rd. He's leading the team with .465 batting average with runners in scoring position. And with first base open, they're going to go ahead and pitch to him.
Sopko throwing hard, and he gets him to pop it up. The infield way in. They got a long way to run. It's going to be in foul ground, and making it over the shoulder grab. What a catch by Richie Burgos, but unfortunately, it's going to allow a run to score.
Debatable whether they should have tried to make the play, because the runner at 3rd, Jason Karopsi, was tagging all the way, and that's the base running principle. You tag on any foul fly ball. Tag. They may fall down, and they did. Larish made a great play with his back to the field. Watch it. Okay, there's Larish coming in, making the play. He goes down, and the runner from 3rd scores easily because he tagged up. Here comes Karopsi. No problem. He scores standing up. He doesn't have to slide, but he did. But that's debatable in foul territory.
Yeah.
Whether to try to make a play that's so difficult and allow yet another run to score.
My first baseman mixed up there. It was Jeff Larish, but I think there you have to let Travis Buck make the play, and if he can't, you got to let it fall.
Then let it drop. Either second baseman Steve Garabrands or first baseman Jeff Larish have an exceedingly difficult play to catch it on the run and then turn 360 degrees for Larish, 180 degrees for the second baseman, and make the throw to home plate. So it's a very important run. Very important run. Great play. Let's give Larish his recognition for that.
Diving
but
stop.
Debatable whether he should have tried to do
it. No way he could have gotten even a slow runner from 3rd after falling down and making that play.
Now this would go on top 10 plays of the week. This great play, but down he goes. By the time he gets up, he has no chance to get the runner scoring from 3rd.
And you saw Buck reaching for the ball so he could throw it in. The Titans' first baseman, Richie Borges, is in a 2-2 count now against Sopko, who's gunning it up there. He is rearing back and throwing the fastball at these guys, so it's pretty good contrast from the breaking pitches of Eric Averill.
By the way, Kurt Suzuki got a run batted in. Sacrifice fly on that pop fly.
Going the other way, but they're just going to chase Nick Walsh back. He's got room and makes the play just shy of the warning track. So a spectacular catch in foul territory by Jeff Larish, but it brings home another run, and it's now a 4-run lead. Titan time tells us it's 6:17 here in Fullerton. Gary Miller and Jerry Kendall with you. Now, you've probably seen me on Major League Baseball, but there he is, Jerry, in the old burgundy uniforms for the Wildcats. 3 NCAA titles. Your hair looked a little different.
19, yeah, check the burns, the sideburns. I had a little, but thanks for the memories, guys. Those are great moments, and I cherish every one of them.
Well, you're pretty familiar with these programs from Arizona.
Oh, yes. We've played Arizona State over 100 times when I was coaching, well over 100. And Cal State Fullerton probably 75 times in non-conference events. So I know these two teams. I know these coaches. I think very highly of both programs. Tough to beat them, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, we showed Barry Bonds earlier, one of the most famous Arizona State alums. But that's some pretty exclusive company. Reggie Jackson went there. Bob Horner went there. They got Paul LaDuca currently playing in the big leagues.
They've had a host of great players come through Arizona State, as well as Cal State Fullerton. And many of them have made the big leagues.
A little soft flare. And a little too much English on it from Ronnie Petterman.
You know, poor Petterman, he had time. The hitter, Dustin Pedroia, runs pretty good, but he had time to set himself and make a throw with his back foot down and set. Watch, he jumps up and throws it off the wrong foot right there. See, he just flips it. Now, he could have taken his time and made a good, strong throw and still gotten Pedroia. There it is. Yeah, but this is Pedroia. Thought, oh no, he hit a ground ball. Wait a minute, he's going to throw it away. He did. He's there.
There's his mom, Debbie, looking on with a Broderick Crawford look-alike right in front of her there in the stands. But that could be a huge play, Jim.
Yeah, it could, to get the leadoff runner on here in the 8th inning, protecting a 5-1 lead. And Dave Serrano on the mound now is going to relieve Justin Windsor, Jason Windsor has done such a great job. Here comes the Chief.
To their ace here with no outs in the 8th, so they're going to get the 6 outs out of their closer. Big high five from Jason Windsor to the man who's going to take his place. And one of the things I love about Jason Windsor is his favorite class, stress management. Well, stress management is facing Arizona State and holding him to 1 run. Oh, what a job.
That's great. He learned something in that class. He got an A. He handled himself beautifully out there.
Well, Chad Cordero is a 33 saves. He broke a 19-year-old school record, and he's got an opportunity here as he comes on in the 8th. Jason Windsor looking on as he seemed pretty happy to hand it over to Chad Cordero. Just 5 hits given up, 1 run against the top scoring team, a team that scores over 10 runs a game, although Dustin Pedroia has his responsibility over there at first base.
By the way, that's the first error in the last 4 games that Fullerton has committed. Prettyman's bad throw. Look at Cordero.
47 in the 3rd innings, just 36 hits, just 7 walks. The walk to strikeout ratio. Not only has he got 60 Ks in 47 in the 3rd innings, but he's walked only 7. Very unusual to have that high a strikeout.
Oh yes, that's remarkable. And he throws hard.
So Pedroia is aboard for the first time today. They've gotten the leadoff man out 3 times. They have never lost a game leading after 7, which happens to be the situation we're in today. This is the 40th time now they've handed over a lead after 7 innings.
And most of the time, Gary, it's been to this young fella, Chad Cordero. They call him the quiet assassin because he's so quiet on the field. He never speaks up. Dave Serrano, pitching coach, said he is so kind and so generous and so quiet. But on the mound, he is absolute intensity personified. The quiet assassin. There's Dave Serrano signaling the pitches.
That we would assume is a fastball call.
It was.
And it was. And Buck was ready for it. Skies it into the gap in left center. They don't know who wants to take it. And finally, Kyle Boyer makes the catch. We've talked about the sprinkling of incredible talent on these teams and the guys that have gone on to the big leagues. Well, here's the candidates for the future. 8 players drafted by Arizona State. Ethier in the 2nd round by Oakland. Bo Vaughn, who we'll see this weekend pitching, by the Red Sox. 7 Fullerton players, including this man on the mound right now in the very first round. I think that was the 8th or 9th first round selection for a Fullerton player.
Yes, and Cordero is just what the major league scouts drool over, if you will. He's broad-shouldered, he's strong, he has tremendous confidence in himself. He can throw 3 pitches over for strikes, the fastball, he's got a slider, and he, among all the others, throws a great change. So he is a first-round draft choice, and Montreal has gotten a good one here. But right now, he belongs to Cal State Fullerton, and are they ever glad?
Well, they've got some history of having productive Cal State Fullerton players with the Expos. Tim Wallach, the championship team.
That's true.
He ended up finishing his career as a Dodger in the neighborhood here.
Well, Cordero is throwing in the mid-90s right now. 93, he can touch 94. And the last 2 strikes to Andre Ethier, who, by the way, has a very quick bat. He's thrown right by him. A foul ball over the third base dugout, and then a foul ball back to the screen. He's just been tardy on these fastballs. There's another one.
Matchup of draft picks, and he gets Ethier to nub one, and it's off the glove, and another error.
It's not.
But he gets the force out. He recovers.
Well, the runner at first, Pedroia, he went halfway towards second base on this. Thought it might drop in. When he saw that the shortstop Turner had a shot at it, he started back. He dropped it, but got it there in time at second base. There's the little pop fly. There goes the shortstop Turner back. Over the shoulder grab, but it pops out of his glove. Now, by that time, Pedroia started back. He tries to recover, but it's too late to advance to second base, and he's the forced out at second base for the second out.
His stick-to-itiveness pays off, and a great stretch by the little diminutive Jason Karopsy at second base to get there ahead of his slide.
Boy, is he throwing heat. Cordero just threw the ball right by Jeremy West.
He just wiped something off, though. Let's see what he goes with here. He shook off that call. Bored in on him. The fastball, and that's gapping again. Closing in the gap. He made the catch.
Oh, a great play by
Shane Costa. Wow. That saved a run. Well, all kinds of defense in that inning for the Cal State Fullerton Titans.
Well, they're waiting to congratulate Shane Costa with unbelief on their faces. And what a great catch. A diving catch going away from home plate. And they're welcoming him with open arms. Watch this catch.
Oh.
And there's Cordero saying, thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
Come in here and let me hug you.
It takes out the middle of the Arizona order. There you see Shane Costa, Major League draft choice. And wow, Major League catch, Jerry.
Yeah, this is remarkable. He has to stretch all the way out. He dives as if he's in a race at the swimming pool. And he comes up with it. Kyle Boyer, the center fielder, remember, he's got a bit of a sore back, and he couldn't get to it. And Costa knew he had to make the play. And his teammates just surround him with gratefulness.
Wow. One of those who've been here a long time in the booth behind us. So he's been here 8 years, best catch he's ever seen. That's not hard to believe. So P.J. Piliteri, the designated hitter who scored the first run of the game when he doubled to lead off that 4-run second inning. He's also struck out. Got a single his last time, so he's 2 for 3. Well, that is a backbreaker.
Yeah, it is. It just takes the wind out of Arizona State right now. Bottom of the 8th. They have one more shot of it, top of the 9th. But that great play by Costa, it typifies Cal State Fullerton's defensive abilities.
Sopko rearing back and throwing, and now their center fielder, Andre Ethier, goes over to right center and makes the first out here on Piliteri. You know, what's interesting also as well, Jerry, is that I noticed that Cordero had shaken off a sign, and he decided to go with his heater. He got away with one there because West smoked that ball.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. When he shook that off, it might have been a decoy. He's been throwing fastballs and really good fastballs. He went to shake it off, but it might have been a decoy, and they were going to go with fastball all the way. You just get the hitter thinking, well, he's going to throw something else. No, but West was ready for the fastball.
First pitch swinging, ground out to Garabanos. Danny Dorn's retired. He's 0 for 3 on the day. He did score when he was hit by a pitch for the 16th time back in the second inning. Well, we saw some of the fans there showing off their hardware, some of the souvenirs, and an all-time attendance record here at Goodwin Field. 3,541 have been squeezed in, and there you see the yellow over there. Those are people that have made it over from the Tempe, Phoenix area, Arizona State fans who are a little disappointed right now. They're going to have to win 2 over the weekend to rally big in the 9th. And remember, Cal State Fullerton has lost only 2 home games all season.
Here's a pinch hitter, Gary. Sergio Pedroza, freshman outfielder catcher, is pinch hitting for Kyle Boyer. Boyer. Remember, he doesn't swing the bat because of that bad abdominal strain.
So everyone getting a little bit of a shot here today for the Titans. With Jason Windsor, who's got the wrap on. Now, I've seldom seen one quite like that. There's a lot of cellophane involved there.
Well, the 2 hinges of the pitcher's arm, the shoulder and the elbow, need a lot of attention after throwing 97 pitches, I think you said, didn't he? 97?
Yeah.
And so they ice him down right away to slow down any inflammation that may result. Think of the wear and tear on the shoulder and the elbow, throwing 4 pitches 97 times, factor in the warm-up pitches. That's a lot of work.
Keeping you up to date in the other super regionals, Baylor has rallied after LSU came back to tie it at 1. The Bears are up 4-1 now on the favored Tigers in Baton Rouge. So they could be putting themselves in position to be a win away from Omaha, as the Titans hope that they are after one more Arizona State at bat.
The left-handed hitter up there now, pinch hitting for Boyer, is Sergio Pedroza, who's hitting .328. He's played 44 games. He's generally the 5th infielder or the 5th outfielder. He's a backup kind of guy.
Swings through there for a strikeout. An impressive inning for Sopko, who has not allowed a base runner. 5 up and 5 down, but Arizona State's going to have to find some offense against Cordero in the 9th. We go to the 9th at Goodwin Field, a record crowd here to watch and see if Cal State Fullerton can open up with a victory in this best-of-3 series. They got their closer, Chad Cordero, on the mound. Jason Windsor has combined with him to allow just 1 run, and we have our 5th player now in the 7-hole. Joe Turgeon has come in to play center field, so they've had David Fisher out there. He went out with an injury. Kyle Boyer is injured, but came into the game and played defensively, had to be hit for, and now Joe Turgeon's out there for the 9th. Well, here's a guy who, if they could have gotten him up last inning, has 4 grand slams. But they couldn't get to Jeff Larish, who made an outstanding defensive play, but it led to their 5th run when he caught an amazing foul ball. But now he bats leading off, and he's yet to have a hit today. He struck out twice against Windsor.
Well, Cordero's going to go right after him. They call him the Chief here at Fullerton. And he's the chief of all bullpen operators. Boy, he's throwing hard.
He pitched in 2 of the regional games, saved 1 of them. And he went over an inning, Jerry, in both of those games.
Yes, he did. And I was remarking earlier when they brought him in with nobody out in the 8th, how important this game is to George Horton and to his staff, because they're bringing their ace in with 6 outs to go. Does that preclude him being used again tomorrow?
Well, I talked to Dave Serrano before the game, and he said he could go every day. He's a horse. So he had a 4-out and a 5-out appearance. But the last time he made a 6-out appearance was against Long Beach on May 16th. That's the only time he's given up a run in 2 months. So 6 outs could be stretching it, and you could determine how he does this weekend.
Well, we'll see how that plays out. But, you know, in my heart, I'm not surprised that he's able to pitch every day. He is such a competitor and such a strong physical specimen. And Let it fly. Let it go. It's so important to get this game. This first game of the best 2 of 3 is absolutely critical.
Jeff Larish strikes out to start the 9th. 1 down.
This may be his slider. Let's see. We can tell from this angle. 2 strikes. He goes fastball. He just blew it by him. And that's a good hitter up there. It's Jeff Larish. He just overpowered him with that fastball. It's got to be mid-90s that he's throwing today.
They have had an incredible game plan against Larish. He has struck out now 3 times. He hasn't made contact. He walked the first time up. He's an 0 for 3, and Steve Garibrandt, who has flown out to right every time up. So be ready out there, Shane Costa.
You don't want to hit it out there. He's catching everything out there.
Larish came into this game with a .372 average and 17 home runs. So shutting him down in the 5-hole has been huge. And you can't say enough about that catch that Costa made to end last inning.
To prevent Larish from getting up there.
Yeah.
With men on base. And the score narrowing.
0-2. Garibrandt hangs in there, and another high fastball, 93 mile an hour, that clocked at.
I'd like to see him throw another pitch beside a fastball. Has he? Gary, have you seen anything other than a fastball?
No, I saw him. You know, I think you're right. I think he was decoying that shakeoff.
The 4th hitter that he's faced.
He hasn't thrown one under 93, I don't think either.
Excuse me, the 5th hitter has just gone down on a fastball. Well, the vaunted Arizona State offense has been quieted today through the effective pitching. First of all, of Jason Windsor, forgive me, Jason, and now Chad Cadero. He's just blowing them away with that good fastball. Wow.
They're on their feet here. Biggest crowd ever at Goodwin Field, and there's a pitch that looked like it might have been a splitter or something. I don't know if he has one, but that didn't look like a straight fastball, even though it was 92.
Oh, I hope it wasn't a splitty at 92. That'd be unhittable.
Home plate umpire Scott Graham calling time before that pitch, so it's a no pitch. As it's up to Nick Walsh now. Nick Walsh has scored the only run of the game for Arizona State, which is the only thing that separated them from having their NCAA record, 498 consecutive games without a shutout streak, extended. Without that, this would have been the first team to shut him out since 1995.
Very intriguing.
1-1.
Well, Nick Walsh up at the plate has hit the ball hard twice. You referred to the double that drove in the only run for Arizona State. But last time up in the 7th inning, he hit one deep to center field. Hit it very hard. It was caught.
Inside corner for a strike. So in a deep hole, Chad Cordero set the Titan school record with 33 saves. And he's about to extend it here. Chases a pitch out of the zone, but stays alive.
That was a high fastball. Call it a purpose pitch, if you will. It wasn't so badly off the plate. Count was 1-2. He's very well ahead of Nick Walsh, but he gave the pitch he had to offer at. There's a ball. There's a fastball.
Pops it up. Looks like Costa appropriately is going to get the last out here, and the Titans have broken up on top. A 5-1 win in a brilliantly pitched game, as Cal State Fullerton uses a 4-run second inning to take a 1-0 lead in a best-of-3 series. So, Jerry Kendall and I will be back to wrap things up here on this opener in the Super Regional with Cal State Fullerton winning at 5-1. We're back at Goodwin Field in Fullerton, California. The Titans of Cal State Fullerton have taken the first game of the Super Regional. They're now 1 win away from Omaha as they knock off Arizona State Sun Devils 5-1 in front of a record crowd. 3,541 in attendance, and those here will talk about a catch they saw from the man we're about to talk to, Shane Costa. Now, Shane, it's a pretty good doing that you guys did on offense, but I've talked to guys here in the booth, and they said they've been here for 8 years, whatever, how many years they've been here. They've never seen a catch like that. Describe that play that really saved the day in the 8th inning.
Well, you know, I was playing him in, I was supposed to be straight up, but I was playing him in slide out because Cordero throws so hard, and I just, you know, put my head down and ran as hard as I can, and I knew I was going to be able to catch it on the run, so I left my feet, and whatever happened, happened. I knew Kyle was there backing me up, so, you know, luckily I made the catch.
Shane, this is Jerry Kendall speaking. That was a backbreaker for Arizona State because they had something going. They had Larish coming up, the next hitter, and to get men on base, that would have scored at least one run.
Yeah, I mean,
then get Larish up there and the tying run on deck. So that absolutely is something there. Great catch.
Thank you.
Shane, I know you guys have great pitching. You were second in the nation in ERA, but this is a team that you almost shut out. They hadn't been shut out since 1995. How were you able to keep this incredible offense of Arizona State in check?
I mean, our pitchers are good. They've been good all year, and we faced some of the best, offenses in the country. And they do their job and we do ours. And turns out we win 5-1, and that's all we can do.
Well, congratulations. You need a win over the weekend. You guys have only lost 2 at home all season, so it's a pretty tall order for the Sun Devils, Shane.
Yep.
Congratulations to Shane Costa. And, Coach, he described it there. Their pitching is great, but do you expect Arizona State to break out of this weekend?
Yes, I do. Their hitters are too good to be stymied that effectively. Now, tomorrow, the Titans will go with a young lefty, a freshman lefty named Ryan Schrempel, who last week in the regionals was just outstanding. But I believe the Sun Devils are going to break out tomorrow. Now, they may not win the game. Fullerton may continue to prevail, but they're going to get their hits tomorrow. I'm pretty confident of that.
Pretty amazing if they can hold in a 1 run, especially with a freshman lefty. Well, we have another star of the game. We had Shane Costa saving probably a triple. The big triple of the game, though, came from this guy. Ronnie Prettyman hitting 8th today. All came in the second inning, Ronnie. Why did everything come together that inning? Because Averill was pretty tough the rest of the game.
Yeah, he was throwing good pitches. He was getting his curveball in for strikes, but we just got some guys on base like we've been doing all year and moving them over and getting guys in scoring position. And he threw me a fastball that I got a hold of and got a triple out of it.
Yeah, talk about, we're showing your at bat right now. I know you can't see it, but tell us about that at bat.
Well, he came in with two curveballs that were a little outside, and then I was sitting there at 2-0 and hoping that he was going to throw me a fastball. So I got my foot down in time and was sitting fastball, and he threw me one. So I got a good piece of it.
Do you feel at all like it's just, it doesn't seem fair that both you guys are in the same regional together, but if you can beat Arizona State, you deserve to go to Omaha?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're an awesome team. We knew that coming in. It's unfortunate with how everything worked out that we have to play them in the Super, but we got to do what we got to do, and we got to beat who we got to beat to get to Omaha. So we'll beat whoever stands in our way, pretty much.
Well, congratulations. Best of luck on the weekend. You got to take 1 out of 2 over the weekend to advance to Omaha.
Thank you.
So it's 5-1. Cal State Fullerton wins it at home. They've lost only twice all season. Arizona State is going to have to beat them twice over the weekend here. Once again, the final score, 5-1 Titans. Join us tomorrow at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific as we continue along the road to Omaha for Game 2 between Arizona State and Cal State Fullerton. All 8 Super Regionals in action tomorrow, so be sure and check your local listings for games and times in your area. For the coach, Jerry Kindle, I'm Gary Miller saying so long from Goodwin Field at Cal State Fullerton. This has been a presentation of ESPN Syndicated Television.